listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Well, good evening, good Saturday night. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live from criticalmassradio.co.uk in yet another undisclosed location somewhere on planet Earth. Yeah, lots of fun. Guys, I'm going to go back over this weekend especially. I want to go back over the Babylon is Fallen essay because I've had a lot of people question, and I see a lot of anxiety because it is a very, very big pill to swallow when one really comes to terms with anything to do with the name and the system has you spiritually contracted to the beast. And it really is quite simple to break that contract. And this is the one thing that I'm still failing at getting across to people. And mainly it's due to the fact that we have been in a physical reality for so long. There is that incessant ego urge to feel the need to do something. Well, yeah, but you got to get the concept first. And what you do after that is just merely dessert. You got to get the main course first. Things you do after you get the concept are the things that actually will have some teeth. And again, this is so very surreal for people to digest at first glance in terms of being on Interstate 60 or a yellow brick road, whatever you want to call it, when you start understanding the magic and seeing the magic around you and seeing the very effects you create on the slide by changing a headline into your definition, the power of thought really starts to come to fruition. The ones that have been in control of this consciousness for a very long time are in an absolute state of panic right now. I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of, today has been a lot of anticipation, feeling in the air, a bit of anxiety. And this allows for me to see something large occurring in terms of the causal effect that we at this table create. And I say that in no uncertain terms. The power that you have and the power that you can wield, you get back into this frame of, being you from a causal position can be very overwhelming. And to the degree that you can accept responsibility for every thought you have, every intention you have, it's to be able to get the power of your magic wand back, so to speak. So I want to go over Babylon is Fallen. I'm going to read the whole thing first, and then I'm going to go through it paragraph by paragraph to really open it up a little bit more. Because effectively what that one essay, document, whatever you want to call it, what it represents is a culmination of literally 4 years of work. Summed up in 3 pages. It would be very easy for anyone, and this is basically where I'm going to direct people to start reading from. There's, because once you read that, the Babylon is Fallen, and you may not be fully aware of what's going on, but I'll tell you, once you read that and go into the essays will actually start to make a lot more sense, because what this does is it clarifies to a degree that it's bringing up 7 points of interest that people need to be focused on as far as the spirit trap is concerned. And I haven't finished that essay yet, but it will be an addendum to the Babylon is Fallen. I already started the spirit trap, and then the Babylon is Fallen kind of, okay, that's got to go first, and I'll get back to the other one when I'm supposed to. I'm not in any hurry. The cab driver's got this game. So that being said, it is BTR listener 025 tonight for those that want to call in through Skype. Put BTR 025 into your Skype contacts to do a search. And when you do the search, it comes up this way, and you can call straight to the board that way, or you can go on Skype via the Blog Talk Radio page if you're listening there. For those that want to call in, you can call in at 661-467-2401. And I just want to clarify, even further, I mean, I've been talking about the same stuff for years, literally, years. The message hasn't changed, just the delivery of trying to get it where it's comprehensible by people, especially those that get the notion of what the name actually represents, and it can literally put you into a state of panic. I know it did for me. When you realize that everything you do regarding the name, through the ignorant consent, where there was no true intent, has had us literally preying on each other to the glee and chagrin of those trying to collect your souls. If you want to get a really good idea of what is going on this planet, there is one movie, I've talked about this one a lot of times, and if you want to get a true handle on what it is you're dealing with, it's a rather interesting little movie, and the movie's called Ghost Ship. One word. It would be considered they talk about it being a B movie kind of a genre, horror stuff, whatever. But I got to tell you, it is one of the, in the genre that it's in and how it presents itself, it is probably one of the finest works of art I've seen exposing this whole game. And when you understand that the ship that is the ghost ship in this movie is literally Earth, the mind of Earth, the consciousness of Earth, being encapsulated and ultimately set free. And you'll see at the end of the movie how the cycle regenerates itself. What we're doing here is making it impossible for that cycle to regenerate ever again. And that's why those of us that are on the front line, sitting at this table, getting the word out to others, doing your part, we all do our own part here. This is what is shifting the consciousness and is changing the reality of this world, literally. So do not take your powers lightly, and do not underestimate yourself in any way, shape, or form. Oh, okay, let me see. Is the audio okay, guys? Okay. Yeah, I haven't changed anything. It's still... Yeah, don't move. Sound is good now. I got you, Bendy. Yeah, so... okay, good. That was weird. Well, I got to tell you, when I clicked the button for the intro, it took a second for it to boot, so I'm just wondering if there's just a tiny bit of lag. So hopefully that's better. I'll hold the mic out where it's more visible. It's actually on the line up to the headphones, so I guess sometimes you can caught my cardigan. But anyway, there you go. One second, I got to get over to the document. Okay, for those that want to follow along, you can go to kateofgaia.wordpress.com and go to Kate's Writings page, and it should be right at the very bottom of the Kate's Writings as the most current that has one up there. I know it's on the site, and I do believe there's actually a Dutch copy of it as well. I'll have to get that website. But I'm going to go through this whole essay first, and then I'm going to come back paragraph by paragraph. So Giuseppe, if you could, maybe title this one, Babylon is Fallen Synopsis, so that way people they'll know what it is in its entirety. So I'm going to get back to the focus of what we're doing here, and hot on the heels of a couple of musical Let's Just Take a Breath night, and right back into it. High, hard, and fast. That's this game. So that's the game I'm playing. No more time here for anyone or anything being harmed any longer. So once I clear my throat. Okay. Make sure my coffee is handy. That generally works. Okay, so that should have given you guys enough time to get to the kateofgaia.wordpress.com site and get Babylon is Fallen open. And this would be your add-on essay or document to this particular episode if you want to review it again. Like I said, this is a culmination of literally 4 years' work put into a couple of pages here. So anyway, Babylon is Fallen. 1. Name. The master key to the entire systems, Crown Corporation's game. The name is the linchpin to the entire legal control construct. Without a legal name, which is your consent by agreeing to be said name, the system vampires cannot literally feed on your lifeblood, creation source energy that is typically shown in the physical materials we collect. It is only the consent to be, use, or have a legal name or mark of the beast that is required for your absolute spiritual contract or deal with the devil motif to be in full force and effect, with you as a slave and them as master. For proof of this, look and see how much of your life or existence involves a legal name, and you will see the measure of control the system has over you. 2. Register or registration, etc. Any or all things registered are fully surrendered with consent to the Crown Corporation, with no legal recourse until such things are removed by exposing the intent by those who serve the Crown Corporation to commit fraud knowingly or unknowingly. An example would be a child that is registered is Crown copyright by ignorant consent, where the truth of registering was not brought forth, which is the original intent by Crown Corporation servants' owners to have people offer their children unknowingly into slavery of soul and thus body. It's the soul they're really after, so keep that in mind. 3. Money, gold, silver, assets, Bitcoin, whatever, etc., are all illusions of value, where you are the true creator of all physical manifestations. Money, external value, has been the tool as a third-party interloper, middleman, that has made draining your power possible. Money or the like only has value if one has been duped into thinking it does. This illusion is the ultimate distraction and destroyer of creator souls, literally. All money is based on the soul contract, commonly known as a birth certificate. 4. Birth certificate. The original sin contract. The name you think or claim as yours is not your creation. Your assumed name was created by your parents or family members or adoptive kin, not you. This is an original creation manifested by another that is, in turn, registered, thus rendering it Crown Corporation property, as previously stated. It is upon this deception that your literal soul was and is enslaved, and upon which all money and debt is created. A debt bond value was placed in the birth certificate based on the assumed accruement of taxes, loans, debts a child is expected to pay as long as they are part of this fraud upon humanity. Example: if someone is expected to pay a certain amount of taxes, etc., in their lifetime, the bond is given a debt value. A child born into a wealthy family will have a higher debt bond value than someone who is of lesser perceived income bracket rating. This is slave trading at its finest, which divides and conquers humanity in the serf, caste, or hierarchy system that encompasses the planet. 5. Command and control. The courts and governments are the system's slaves within, bought and paid for, where the true command and control aspects are the police or military as the frontline dogs and fear contractors for those above the courts and governments, such as the banks or religions, and those that control them. The courts and governments are merely the filler for this sandwich of deception and illusion. Without the ability to contract via any or all names at the frontline level, the whole system of control is destroyed. Most importantly, those at the very top of this spiritual slavery pyramid. Without the name, all levels above are ultimately annihilated completely. 6. The Triple Crown. This consists of Rome, City of London, Crown Corporation, and Washington, D.C. They are the unholy trinity of the 3-in-1, 1-in-3, as illustrated clearly in the Papal Crown. Religion to control the beliefs, minds, and spirituality of humanity, the courts and banks to control the money or bonds, and the world police military to quash rebellion and act as frontline contractors of soul extractions. 7. Principalities of darkness. This is the true nature of the game that the vastness of humanity is blind to. Religions have been used to separate you from source by making one believe God is external and use the Savior program to reinforce this. Money is the tool that is used to keep people in the physical-only realm by getting them to equate an external value on everything, where nothing would exist without the people and their creativity. Physical death and harm is the tool used to clamp down your true essence, which is all creation itself. The tools employed are languages with the corruption of pure frequency intent, with multiple meanings of the same sounds or frequencies, using words and spellings literally, thus dividing and conquering us and redirecting our energy into their creations and control. These entities cannot create anything, since they are soulless and thus utterly powerless. They know this and are absolutely terrified because this spells their doom once and for all. We are life with consciousness, where these entities are consciousness without life, soul, or spirit. They are completely and solely dependent on getting our consent or spiritual contract agreement, and this is easily achieved through the name deception, buying people off, ego comforts, etc. Their whole house of cards or pyramid is based on this fact. We are the fuel for their system vehicle. Without spiritual fuel, they're destroyed. The biggest program that we run into with the masses is the sheer disbelief of their own power and who they truly are. A masterful job has been done to get humanity to this level of spiritual weakness and complete ignorance. This was the intent of corrupting the ancient truths, rewriting our past and presenting this in schools, churches, and all levels of ego academia. Repeat a lie often enough, and people will believe it. It is far easier selling a giant lie to the masses than selling us one by one. The media is the main tool of thought direction and manipulation to reinforce the lies we were filled with as children and up to our current state. We have many soulless entities on this planet, with the vast majority being placed in positions of power and control, be it police, courts, media, churches, governments, schools, military at all levels. Fear is their only tool. And once one sees their true immortal nature, one becomes untouchable, literally. The mass hypnosis of humanity is deep, and you will meet all levels of resistance from friends, family, co-workers, etc., so don't bother trying to wake the consenting to be dead. The facts to prove this are all there for all to see, so it is up to them to look, not you. Simply plant the seed and walk away. They are the same as the ones in the allegory of Noah that came to the ark too late. Let them drown. We are now at the culmination of destroying these entities once and for all, and they are pulling out all the fear porn, illusion, and desperation plugs, and in that process, they're sinking their own ship, where I merely hand them a better plug puller now. You and only you can save yourself and no one else, so stop killing yourself trying. Let the dead bury the dead, and perhaps they'll get it on the next pass. But they are not your concern. Stay the course. The path home is the one of truth only, and nothing else. Your willingness to stand in truth is yours alone, and to the degree that you stand will be the same degree that you become untouchable spiritually and, as a result, physically. As above, so below. There is no middle ground here. You're either in or out of Babylon. You are either master or slave, mortal or immortal. The soul, you, are infinite, where the body is merely a biological computer you operate. Your computer was infiltrated and corrupted. Reptilian brainstem, fused chromosomes, yada, yada, yada. And separated from the heart source mind. The soulless ones cannot experience compassion, so don't expect them to. They are the same as the Terminator droids in the movies, programmed to control and kill without remorse, and are easy to spot. They are everywhere, including your own family, friends, etc., and all you have to do is feel your way through. Let your instincts and your heart be your guide. We are clearing this reality of these parasites exponentially now, where universal law reigns supreme, where none shall or can trespass. They are masters of deception, so do not let your loving compassion be used against you, something that has been their most powerful, something that has been one of their most powerful tools. The Bioborg entities are already lifeless and are dependent only on being able to suck the life out of you, But, like every vampire, they cannot enter your reality without an invitation. Every use of the legal name is the only invitation they need, so best cut your ties and consent with that. Just get this concept, and you have already cut the puppet strings, and your causal ability returns instantly in relation to your ability to be responsible with that ultimate of powers. To the walking dead, and you know what you are, your time is over. Your deceptions are powerless, and now, moment by now moment, you are being erased from consciousness for the invading parasites you are. We of the living soul are awake, aware, and reclaiming our reality, where yours never existed. In short, yes, you are doomed. Have a nice day, Kate. Well, you got to be polite about these things, right? Okay, so that being said, let me get over to, where is it? Just want to check the board. And we'll get the lines open up shortly. And I would ask people to stay on point with this tonight. Maybe think of some questions. Those of you that know what's going on, maybe think of some questions that people that do not know what's really going on here might ask, so we can work these things through together to make this, I'm hoping to make this particular episode tonight one of the most powerful, if not most powerful tools we've had yet. And it really is about taking all of these little things that each part of this essay that I've just read can be researched in greater detail on my website, kateofgaia.wordpress.com. There are lots and lots of essays, and I do have lots more to put up that aren't actually on that site yet. I was going through my archives on my other hard drive, and I found a few gems that I don't think are on the site yet. But that being said, let's just take this one paragraph by paragraph here, because I really want to get into the Dark Principality aspect and what this game's about. This is a game to see who can contract you. If you want to split it up into two teams, there are the good guys and there are the bad guys. Okay? Good and evil. So let's play the heaven and earth game, all right? Think of it as a recruiting. Think of it as recruiting a planet full of people that the more dumb and ignorant and controlled they are, the more likely they are to follow the path that leads to their ultimate doom. They're wiping out of their own consciousness. You can call this a bit of a hissy fit on, if you want to call it the Satan God game. You can call this the ultimate of hissy fits by Satan, the fallen one. The hijack, Jack the Giant Slayer. You are the giants, by the way. Remember, turn everything over on its head, and you'll start to see the true neutral truth within everything. If you're looking at a movie, let's say from one side is the good guy, one side is the bad guy, you're only seeing half the story. What you need to do is watch it a second time, where the perceived bad guy in the first time you watched it is now the perceived good guy, and the good guy is now the bad guy. And when you do that, and then watch the whole movie a third time from neutral, oh, you'll be amazed at that beautiful sign. The truth that comes out from both sides equally gets to be incorporated into you and your own thinking and causal ability. So it's powerful stuff. So let's go through the name, which has been the crux of everything I've done in this walk all along. So of course it has to be the one thing, the one ring that rules all of humanity, until they just simply change their mind and take that ring off or take the ring out of their nose, actually, never mind on your hand. That humanity's being led by the nose with the name. You know, you'll hear churches and religions talk about, Revelations, the mark of the beast and the whore of Babylon, and, you won't be able to do commerce without the mark of the beast and blah, blah, blah. Isn't it funny that you cannot do commerce without a legal name? So that is your mark of the beast. So just start to get these concepts, and do not try, because the ego wants to, do not try to solve all of your friggin' problems that are going to come jumping out at you at once. Breathe. This game is about breathing, getting into peaceful meditation within self, because this is the biggest red pill of them all. And I want to address a few other comments that have been posted regarding other people's websites and what do I think of this and what do I think of that with regards to other people's work. I have a very simple answer for that. If any of these individuals, which they are using a legal name, which they are, well, traveling around with passports and licenses and all the rest of it, excuse me, making, claims into court or, DNA stuff and all the rest of it, they're still using the legal name, so they're still caught in a physical reality. They don't understand what the esoteric nature and trap of the name. The name is the spirit trap. So here we go. I'll just go through the paragraph again, and then I'll uncover a few things within it. The master key to the entire system or Crown Corporation's game. The name is the linchpin to the entire legal control construct. That's very, very easy to prove. Go ahead. Leave the house without any identification. Go and buy a car without any identification. Go open a bank account without that. Go get a passport without identification. You see where it goes here. Go enroll a kid into school without identification. Apply for a credit card without a name. Look for a bank account without a name. You starting to see how big this picture is? And I know the frontline contractors are the uniformed goonies we commonly refer to as our law enforcement officials, the biggest criminals of all. Most of them don't know that they're the biggest criminals of all, but that's what I'm here to do, to go, hey, wake up, stupid. You're being used, and not only are you enslaving yourself because you have sworn an oath to a dead corporate fiction called the Crown Corporation, and I don't care where on this planet you are. I don't care what religion is in that country because it's all the same thing. All things registered are all things Crown. All things with a legal name are owned by the Crown. Canon law was subverted by corporate law, contract law. That's why all God's names must be in all capital letters. All God's names? Well, yeah, you. And that's what you are. You are God, and you are of the Most High. There's a lot of universal jealousy going on this planet. Humanity and mankind is you know this, you've always known this, humanity or mankind is very special in this universe. It is the culmination of creation. And that culmination of creation was messed with in regards to our DNA, with two of our chromosomes being fused together, the 23rd and 24th, creating only 23 chromosomes. And to me, intuitively, and based on my own research, that to me is what created the reptilian brainstem. There are 250 genomes in the human DNA strand that is indigenous only to humans. It is found nowhere else on this planet. Nowhere else on this planet. So there's a good clue as to something not being quite quite fine in Oz, So it's really simple to see that the name is the linchpin. You cannot do anything in this commercial, legal system without a name. So let's carry on here. Without a legal name, which is your consent by agreeing to be said name, the system vampires cannot literally feed on your lifeblood or creation source energy that is typically shown in the physical materials we collect. You might want to call those possessions. You might want to call them homes, cars, children, marriages, divorces. Commercial liens that are registered. You see how silly that is? When something is registered, I had a a mild, I wouldn't call it a run-in with an individual, but on the air a few years back, where they were on bragging about their $1 trillion liens against the RCMP and billions upon billions against so-and-so. And then this individual came on radio shows with TNS at the time, came on the radio show to bitch and complain that the courts were basically eliminating all of these registered liens, commercial liens. And I asked this individual, very sarcastically, I knew why. I said, well, those liens that you're talking about, they're all registered, right? And of course, she said, yes, they are, in complete confidence. And I said, well, there's your problem. If they're registered, you don't own them. Of course they're going to cancel the damn things out. And I think that was the first time I had ever heard this individual actually shut up. And as a matter of fact, I never came back on the show again. What are the odds? A little ego issue there. But anyway, yeah. So this is why people are so afraid of. Well, I don't want to lose this and I don't want to lose that. You've already lost it. You don't own your home. You don't own your kids. You don't own your cars. You don't own anything. You don't own your marriages. You don't own anything. If it was registered, and I'll put the $5 up to say, yeah, it's been registered. The very name you're using was registered. You did not create that name. It wasn't your original thought. It was somebody else's intellectual property. Well, let's call the baby such and such. You didn't come out with a little notepad and said, oh, by the way, this is my name that no one shall ever know. No, you didn't do that. And what happens as soon as that name is given to the child, well, there's a spiritual contract there because mom and dad and the baby, there's a trinity there. The baby is the itself because it's got both sides of the DNA of mom and dad, right? So there's your trinity, which is all creation itself, the himself, herself, itself. And the instant that a name is registered, well, that's the divine right handed over to the Crown Corporation, which includes that's the Vatican, London, and Washington D.C., the unholy trinity. So don't ever talk to me about what you're afraid of losing, because you've already given it away. My concern is to make sure you get to keep that which you've already given away, because you didn't know you were giving it away when you registered it. You didn't know you were committing fraud every time you used somebody else's legal property. Copyright law. I don't know about you, but if somebody outside of you came up with an idea and sold it to somebody else and then you start using it, well, if you were the one that had rights to that property, well, just ask your silly little ego this. Wouldn't that piss you off? What makes you think the system's any different? And that's exactly what it's relying on. And of course, once mom and dad surrender, they give the name. It's a pure gift. It's full consent, right? That's why it's called a given name. That's why gift is such a powerful word. Black's Law, in their black magic book, says right there, gamete intrafallopian transfer. That's GIFT. Oh, what's a gamete, Kate? Well, gamete is the instant the sperm and an egg connect. It's actually 12 sperm, but let's just keep it, simple tonight, right? That's when the sperm and the egg connect. The gamete is created. That's when it starts going into its splitting, dividing, right? So they're not just taking the baby after it's born. They're going right back to its conception. It's with Godness. Right? Concept ion. Con with, set being seven, God, that's the allegory. Ion. Io, that's divine feminine. And means it's infinitely mine. So it's a very tricky little system that we have here. I just spent a lot of time being a little bit trickier and digging through the why. Why is that like that? And it can only be found by looking at everything and saying, I'm wrong about everything. I'm going to go prove it. So here it is. It is only the consent to be or use or have a legal name or mark of the beast that is required for your absolute spiritual contract deal with the devil motif to be in full force and effect with you as a slave and them as master. It's really, really that simple. It's mind-numbingly simple. If you agree to do something with somebody, are you in a contract? Yes, you are. If you agree to do something and then don't do it, and you gave your word, your bond is your word, right? Your word is your bond. Are you in breach of contract? Yes. In universal law. Your word ain't worth shit. And that's what happens every time you use a legal name. Your word is worthless. You have no causal ability. Your crown or crow that is yours, crow-n or crone, is handed over to somebody else. If you remember at the end of Jack the Giant Slayer, when he put on King Eric's crown, the main character, Jack, all the giants bowed before him. That's exactly what we, the giants, the aspects of God, are doing, because we gave our crown over to an external king. That's why you need to watch Jack the Giant Slayer with Jack and all his cohorts as the bad guys and the giants as the good guys. You'll see both sides of that picture very clearly. And it's really simple to prove this. For proof of this, look and see how much of your life or existence involves a legal name, and you'll see the measure of control the system has over you. Now the questions come flying. Well, how do I do this, Kate? How do I do that? Listen, first thing I need people to do is just shut up for 5 seconds in their own head and just let this sink in. Where the only answer is, oh, okay, I see what she's saying. And you can go and look everywhere, and it's very easy to prove this. The ego needs proof. It's all over the world. You see it everywhere. If you want a little bit of ammo to that, I've had quite a few occasions to prove the power of no name. I also had the British High Consulate. I don't know about you, but an embassy for United Kingdom, a.k.a. City of London, right? One of their embassies with one of their officials that knows all of this stuff. When you get them telling you that, yes, any use of the name, legal name, is pure fraud, you don't need to listen to me. How about you listen to that, coming right out of the whore's mouth? And this individual was very quickly shifted out of the Ottawa embassy. And I should also add, everyone at that point, when I went, I had to get and don't even talk to me about passports, because all you're going to be doing now is seeing the level of trap and measure that you're in. My game is to take it all down. I'm not interested in how I do this with paperwork. And no, that is matrix illusion. This is how you take it all down, where you don't need any of this stuff, because we never did. Go back 100, 120, 130 years. You didn't need passports to go from one country to another. You simply went. You could go anywhere on this earth, typically unimpeded by any armed goonie in a little booth at an imaginary fictional line that they're there to protect, because somehow that piece of dirt an inch away from this piece of dirt is somehow different. What level of mental retardation is that? My dirt's better than your dirt. It's got an American flag on it. Well, this dirt's got a Canadian flag on it. It's still fucking dirt. Start looking at these things like a child would. A child would look at this and go, these adults are insane. And they'd be right. So let's clarify the name a little bit further. Let's move on to number 2, register and registration. I'll break down the word register, what it means, because this is a spiritual game we're playing here. This is not a physical paper. Get this in your mind first so that your heart can be cleared out of it. Then you can start feeling your way through this. No, I don't have your answers. I don't remember having any of you around whenever I was starting to do this, and I didn't have a freaking clue. I just simply knew that I had to stand in truth, and I'll figure it out as I go. I don't remember using anyone else's documents to solve things. But I sure as hell remember writing a ton of shit to help others. And once you get, number 1, the name, once you get that, I mean really get it, you don't have to worry about the mortgage, or the bank, or the courts, or the governments, or anything. Did I mention it's a linchpin? What is a linchpin? Well, it's that thing you pull out. The hangman drops. Pull the pin. Hang the system. Let's get into the more spiritual aspects of this. They're all spiritual. I don't see this physical reality. I see spiritual. Register, 2 words. Regis, stir. There's more to it than that, but let's just stick down to this whole phonetic or Phoenician trick that has been played on everybody by giving words multiple meanings where you're only given 1 or 2 definitions without ever being told the hidden intent, what's really going on inside the word. No one ever stops to think twice about a cash register. Well, what is register? It's really simply this. It is to rule the divine feminine creative aspect, your God nature. It means to rule you. Can I make it clearer than that? It means to rule you and all of your infinite godly powers. I can't make it any clearer than that. Try this one on. If I was God, and I am, this is what I would do. And as soon as you start understanding that true nature and the true crazy awesomeness that humanity and mankind is, that it's been controlled through its ignorance and innocence. I'll get into that later as far as compassion. It's very easy to confuse a compassionate heart, because we'd never imagine anybody doing anything this bad to us. Well, I've said before, if you want to catch a serial killer, you better start thinking like one. Not being one, just thinking like one. And that's where people's stomachs begin to turn. I know mine did, but I had to look in order to really, how evil could they, oh man, this is some pure evil stuff. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with here, pure evil. Completely unredeemable, evil, demonic, whatever you want to call it, principalities. Beyond lost souls, because they don't even have a soul. So getting back to register and registration. And this is why cash is actually spiritual in its intent and its binding. Okay, so any and all things that are registered are fully surrendered, with consent to the Crown Corporation, with no legal recourse, until such things are removed by exposing the intent, which has already been done, by the way, by those who serve the Crown Corporation to commit fraud knowingly or unknowingly. I have made it well known worldwide, to the Vatican, to the City of London, all of the castles and what have you, and countless police organizations, RCMP, you name it, OPP. Oh, the criminals don't want to hear this stuff, though. I'm talking politicians all across Canada, Australia, United States, Europe, Great Britain, my home turf in Ireland. So this is all already well documented and well publicized. So there's your intent changing. No, it wasn't your intent to use a name and commit fraud, was it? You just thought it was what everybody else was doing. And there's the innocence and the compassion and the fully accepting nature to allow anything and everything into your universe. It's time to stand up a little bit and just, put the shields up and have a look for a change. Instead of buying everything like a seagull. Gull from gullible. Gullet, which means you'll swallow anything. And too many people have been swallowing that blue pill for their entire lifetime. Well, it's like Mary said to me today, perfect line is, the irony of this game is that most people don't know that they don't know. And that's what we're doing here, waking up at least one side of that not knowingness. And people can kick and scream all they want, ego-wise, and, well, this, that, and the other, we need money. Fine, go ahead, knock yourself out. But you're going to get sucked into that pit with the rest of them. Nothing to worry about, because you won't exist anymore. So that's no skin off my spiritual nose, if you will. No, that's not what I want you to do. That's certainly not what I would do. Merely the only thing I offer here is a choice. And to the degree that you stand in that choice, it's a degree that you will move away from potentially being wiped out. Remember, watch Ghost Ship. It's quite the allegory. Interesting to note that the little ghost girl's name is Katie. Didn't freak me out at all. No, not at all. Okay. Excuse me. Now remember this. Any and all things registered are fully surrendered. So what have you got to lose that you haven't already given away anyway, stupid? I'll put it blunt. People that are fighting, kicking, and screaming. Well, I got to save my house, and I've got to save this, and well, you can't, because you're using a legal name. It's owned by somebody else anyway. And the only reason they haven't come and grabbed it right away is because they want to. They're not interested in the house, the car, the kids, or what. Well, the kids, yes, for sure. They don't want the money and the asset value. That's what everybody thinks. No, they want your soul, dopey. And the more you fight over the things that you are possessed by, the more they own your soul. And the more energy that you will be feeding that dark principality that's destroying you. And it just takes a change of mind on this. I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I sent any legal paperwork to a demon. No, this is a mental one. This is where you change your heart. That's where the true power lies. It's been scientifically proven. The heart as a mind is 10,000 times more potent than that gray shit stuck in the inside of your head. The intuitive mind, the feel, the knowingness. That's all the shield you need. All right, here we go. So here's another example. How much do you love your children? Really? They registered? You registered? They registered in school? Registered with a doctor? Did you register your gift thing for your wedding? Yeah, we got to go and register at this store. Yeah, to make sure that everything registered is given up spiritually. You don't own a damn thing. While you walk around with a legal name without knowing what it really is, you don't own anything. You are owned lock, stock, and barrel. You're a pure slave. It's when you wake up to these truths that you have nothing to lose that you haven't already given away or lost already. And look at the reluctance people have to, they'll fight for possessions they don't own, but God damn it, will they fight for themselves and their soul? Do you see how degraded we got? Well, I'm just here to be the mouthy tranny to kick your ass into gear. So here's another example of registration. A child that is registered is crown property by ignorant consent where the truth of registering was not brought forth. So there's fraud right there. There was intent to commit fraud. That's why in a birth certificate, copy I have, it says right on it, proof of intent to commit fraud. That's what a birth certificate is. It's actually evidence of the proof of intent to commit fraud. The mere fact that a registration office exists is all the proof of intent to commit fraud that is required. If there was no intent to register or commit fraud by claiming souls via a physical means, those things would never exist. And it's only upon the intention of going to register your children that the contract was already sealed. People talk about their wedding anniversary because it was a special day where they got married. No, they were married the instant he said or she said, "Will you marry me?" And he said or she said, "I do. I will." It wasn't a fucking church or a city hall. That contract was sealed with acceptance of, yes, I will. That's the deal. Done. Everything else is just tradition, drama, and nonsense. Absolute garbage. So if you don't own the marriage, which church, you've given up the soul to Satan there anyway. That's the whole. And I'll use Satan as an allegory. This is just an easier way of saying dark principality and those, whatever, demonic aspects. Okay. Those that go to, this is the joke of this weekend. Ishtar? The fucking whore of Babylon herself? Everyone's celebrating Ishtar. And what are they doing? Well, they're saying it's a crucifixion. No, dopey, that happened on December 21st. That was the crucifixion when the sun passed through the Southern Cross. The 3 days after was the 3 days in the tomb, and on the fourth day, the stone was rolled back, and the sun was reborn, born again. And that's a yearly cycle. Santo Bonacci and Bill Donahue and countless others have covered that in great detail. I've covered it in great detail myself. So not only is this whole weekend a joke, they've got all these people walking in blindly thinking they're dealing with a crucifixion and, the 12 steps and all. Oh, shut the fuck up. Bunch of program meat sticks, I mean, what do you say to these people that I haven't already said? So here they are celebrating the fertility rites and the rituals of Babylon with the whore of Babylon herself, Ishtar. And they think they're actually flowing positive energy towards Jesus is my savior. Jesus save me. Oh, cry me a river, morons. Fucking Jesus is a Greek name. Anyway, so another example of registration. A child that is registered as crown property by ignorant consent where the truth of registering was not brought forth, fraud, intent to commit, which is the original intent by the Crown Corporation servants owners. Yeah, those that own the Crown Corporation, we can go back to the corporation sole or sole proprietorship aspect. The corporation sole, which is the Bank of England, there's only one shareholder. Isn't that funny? And everything hinges right back to that. And of course, we can go to Venice, where the blue sky bonds, all insurances and all birth certificate bonds are traded, and Rome, and it's all interconnected. We've covered this stuff in great detail. If anybody wants to waste their time and give their ego a little satiation and look how clever I am nonsense, go ahead, research it all. I mean, there's more than enough information. And the joke is, all you have to do is Google it now, and the truth will come right to you. And the whole intent here is to have people offer their children unknowingly into slavery of soul and thus body. It's like, if you knew you were, I want to give my children's soul to Satan, is this where I sign up? I want to make sure that my children are fed on by the vampires to make sure that they are completely destroyed as living points of consciousness, the brightest and most magnificent in the universe. Is this where I cut their throats? Is this where I sign up? Because it is the soul they're really after. And you really do have to get this. You have to keep that in mind at all times. They're not interested in money, and while people are talking about money and all the rest of it, they're missing the point. That's the distraction, idiots. Because I can go back to the birth certificate, which have I got? Yeah, it's coming up, right? I did these in order as they fell out of my face, but funny how it all goes together. Because all money that you think is money, it's not backed by anything real, nor would it be real even if it was. It's still a third-party interloper. It's still creating a value outside of yourself, thinking that you need to go and work for somebody else while somebody, skims off the top, typically 95%. I don't know about you, but having somebody skim 95% off your paycheck might annoy you. But that's a fact. And it shows up in things like inflation, which is a big joke. It's actually money deflation in value, right? That's what inflation is. It's showing how worthless the currency is. And I'll tell you, the hyperinflation that's coming is going to be the absolute recapturing of the divine feminine spirit that was trapped within the gold originally. The whole allegory of consciousness being trapped in gold was humanity being duped into thinking that little piece of metal that we create anyway, because we're kind of God, actually had more value than us. And that later translated through the gold, silver, and what have you, finally to where we're at with plastic monopoly money and little bits of iron ore stamped with the Whore of Babylon, Queen Elizabeth on it, right? What is coin? Means high priest coins. They're your high priests. You're saying that you're a high priest for the Whore of Babylon. Or a dead president, doesn't really matter to me. But that is simply a measure of the loss of control. Because every birth bond that gets created, I'll get into that in the birth certificate, there is a soul attached to it. And that being said, let's cover 3, the money, gold, silver assets, and Bitcoin, and what have you. Bitcoin's one of my favorites lately in that bit is what you lead a horse around with, a whore. And coin is high priest. So what is it telling you? Right? You got a bit in your mouth, you're being led by the high priest. They'll steer you right down into the pit. These are all assets all illusions of value. Okay? Yeah, they are assets. They're all illusion of value. Where you are the true creator of all physical manifestations. I don't know, take $100,000. Let's just get allegorical here. Take $100,000, put it in a nice pile, put it on a nice vacant lot out in the country, and come back in, 3 or 4 months to see if the house was built, to see if the money built the house for you. And if you're lucky, the rats and all the rest of it haven't chewed all through it. But I'm trying to show you where the value is. The ones that do the work, the ones that build these things, the ones that design them and create them, they're the ones that are actually creating. And it's the parasite demonic essence, call them bankers, call them popes, queens, presidents, prime ministers, government officials, cops mostly, and all the rest of it. They're just the parasites that produce nothing except suffering and pain against humanity. They are the double dippers, the third-party interlopers, the rapers of spiritual soul. Because that's all they know how to do. They're thieves. Alibaba and the 40 thieves indeed. So you see the difference between how money is absolutely worthless. Go ahead, like I said, throw $100,000 out in a vacant lot. I tell you, you can build a really nice house if that's the money you had to buy the materials. You could build one scorching nice house. I kid you not. Oh, what's a typical house? Millions now? $500,000? Whatever. Who cares? It's all bullshit anyway. For those that want to know more about that, go to the Loans and Mortgages Who's Who, Midas Touch, and Contract Essays to see exactly who you're cutting the deal with. It ain't the bank. Only the living can contract. You might want to talk the thief called bank manager, loans officer, and tell them you want your money back. They're the ones that bought your car. They're the ones that bought your house. You lent them the money, not the bank. Bank's a dead corporation. I don't know. You can call up any bank and ask for, I'm looking for Mr. or Mrs. Bank of America. Are they around right now? Oh, how about Mr. or Mrs. Bank of England? Are they? No? Oh, how about Mr. or Mrs. Corporation of the City of Guelph? You see what I'm saying? Money, the external value, illusional value, has been the tool as a third-party interloper middleman. So that's why anybody that pushes Bitcoin or Nasara or this Durka Denari thing or whatever, any of these other schemes, even things like Ubuntu and all of this other shit, seriously, a political party? Mike, come on, man. You're either really, 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 really fucking stupid, and you're pretty bright from what I can tell, or you're COINTELPRO. So pick one. Okay. Enough said on that one. But anyway, the money or the external value has been the tool as a third-party interloper middleman, the skimmer, if you will, that has made draining your power possible, and you do it to yourself. Money or the like only has value if one has been duped into thinking it does. Look, this little piece of paper still has value. Really? This illusion is the ultimate distraction. Yeah, it's got everybody spinning in circles. Got to get more money. Got to get more money. You know. Oh, you know what I do if I won this much? And do you see how corrupted our hearts are? How deep into the dregs of physical reality we've been dragged. Climb above that. And yes, that exists right now in this current reality. Change the intention into any of this stuff and using it to destroy the system. Now you're putting the pure 10,000-fold virus into the beast. And it's falling. It's falling down around your ears right now. Everywhere. The illusion is the ultimate... Money is the illusion that is the ultimate distraction and destroyer of creator souls, literally. All money is based on the soul contract, commonly known as birth certificate. So let's get down and dirty with what's really going on spiritually here. It goes back to the Word of Admiralty. You'll find that in Invocation of the CRSS or Invocation of the Cross document on my website. Word of Admiralty definition is right there, which was the biggest eye-opener for me in terms of universal law being mimicked, copied into man-made law, and it was very well hidden. Hidden in the phonics of words like semen. Yeah, you don't think that's ironic? There's no coincidences. And all of this stuff has been meticulously and intricately detailed for any insatiable ego that needs to get its head full of shit. I just say it as it is, okay? The birth certificate is a soul contract. Mom and Dad get into contract with each other First off, when, let's say, Dad asks Mom to marry him, and she's, oh my God, yes, they're married. Let's go get it registered. Oh, now the marriage is owned, and all things created within that marriage are now what? That's right, boys and girls, Crown property. Well, let's have a kid. Well, that contract is now owned right there spiritually by the Crown. And the kid hasn't even been conceived yet. It's a thought. That's all it takes is a thought. Not every thought is owned within anything registered. This is the power, and it sounds so crazy, but it's so simple. That which you agree to, you are bound to. Yes or no? That which you agree to, you are bound to. Let me say that one more time. That which you agree to, you are bound to. You bind yourself. That's why the teacher said, swear no oaths, make no promises. Because that is a contract, a soul contract. And the birth certificate, to me, beyond the name, is the most hideous form of child pedophilic raping of the soul in any definition of the word. It is the original sin contract. Because I'll tell you this, the name you think or claim is yours is not your creation. Your mom or dad or someone in your family came up with it. Somebody outside of yourself. I even had people say, well, if I change my name, do I have to do it legally? How about I bitch slap you upside the fucking head on that one? The whole idea is to get out of the legal. I used to laugh at transgenders that go out and want to legally change their name. Hi, I'm Kate. That was tough. But you see, people get caught in the legal trap. They think that, oh, I better do this or I can't get a passport. See what I mean? I can't get a passport. I can't get this. Oh, and gay rights. We want gay marriage. Why? You want to give up that to the state too? What, you haven't been persecuted enough that you want to get an even bigger reaming? Start thinking about these things. Anything you bind yourself to the system with, you're going to pay for it. Financially, but more importantly, spiritually. So go ahead, cut your deals with the devil, because that's all you're doing. I just don't do that. So again, the name you think is yours is not yours. Mom and Dad thought of it. They stuck it to you, literally. They didn't mean to. They went and registered it, and of course the system, once they have enough parents registered, that's why people today can't even fight about registration of their kids, because they're already registered and owned by the system. This had to be done drip by drip. So they introduce the idea, and people start going along with it. As soon as they get enough in that base, the two people that get married that have a registered birth certificate, they're already owned by the state anyway, so they have no say. You have no say. There is no legal recourse, no legal remedy in any of this. You are slave. Knowing ignorant innocence. The original sin is not yours, it's theirs, but you've got to become aware of it. Because if you're walking around using somebody else's property, that's stolen identification. I've said before, you can go online if you have just the information, mom and her maiden name, the dad, his full name, the full name of the individual you want to create identification for, and where they were born and the birth date. And you can go online and order a birth certificate. And you can become whoever you want. That's why every birth certificate on this planet is fraud. It doesn't prove anything. Well, it does. It says that you're willing to commit fraud by using potentially a birth certificate that can be used by anybody. That's why the Book of the Dead registration books in these registration offices, you will never see the original, because it's the DNA of your mom and dad that sealed the contract. And DNA, of course, is the combination of the spirit and the physical. DNA, the blood, the creation of the body itself, with the spiritual intent contained within it, and all the knowledge, all that junk DNA stuff, yeah. As soon as you touch something, you've left behind DNA. That's a raised seal. A seal is the highest covenant, highest promise. So the seal is done. It seals the deal before the pen has even finished the first letter, the DNA is all over that page. That's the soul contract done right there. Again, go back to Midas Touch, the essay. Read that again. I would say read a bunch of my stuff many times until it really sinks in. You start getting this. So no, the name that you think is yours was never yours. You thought it was. Mom and Dad convinced you to be a fraudster. They didn't know they were doing that. But they freely gave that name to the Crown to register it. And two parents that are already registered don't have a say in the matter. That's why they'll hold people hostage in hospitals. And you hear them all screaming victim. Well, I'm telling them why they're victim and how to get out of it. People love to beat me up for it. It's awesome. Anyway, your assumed name was created by your parents or family members, adoptive kin, not you. Ain't your property. Go ahead, start using somebody else's property. Use somebody else's identification and see what happens to you. And that's exactly what you're doing with what you think is your own name. All that identification in your wallet and purse and wherever else is all pure fraud, and you're committing fraud by doing it. In ignorance, but again, ignorance of the law is not a defense of it. Time to wake up. This is the original creation manifested by another that is in turn registered. Remember what registered means, to rule your creative godness, thus rendering it Crown Corporation property, as previously stated. It's upon this deception that your literal soul was and is enslaved, and upon which all money debt is created. So I could go through this second part again, but it's as simple as this. If you come out of a poor family with a poor outlook in terms of what you're going to generate, let's say, and again, this is not judgment here. This is just simply observation. It's probably likely that someone who goes to Yale, an Ivy League college, from a multi-million-dollar family, is probably going to have a better and higher paid job than the young man or young lady that's working at McDonald's, and that might be their career choice for a lifetime. So that bond is, you want to talk about discrimination? You want to talk about racial profiling? I have a copy of the Missouri racial profiling for birth registration. They want to know if you're Hispanic, you're white, you're black. They want to know if there's other children involved with other fathers. It's basically bond grading 101. You get to grade your own bonds. So someone that come out of the ghetto, they might only be expected to pay maybe in a lifetime $50,000 or $100,000 in taxes throughout their life, or whatever. Someone that born into a very wealthy family might end up paying millions, and the bond has stated that. That's how it starts out. Well, we can put this blue sky bond on the market for this ghetto kid for $100,000, and it's created instantly. The debt is created at birth. It's a death certificate, by the way. Right? And from that $100,000 ghetto bond to the $10 million Yale bond, that's where the money is created from. That's where the Fed Reserve and the Rothschilds and all the rest of this, that's where they get their money value from. And these things are traded on the markets. And every time you go get a loan for something, say a house or whatever, that gets tacked onto it. That's how these bonds go up in value. The more debt you go into, the more valuable these bonds become. So you see that you're killing yourself by thinking you're moving ahead. Well, I'm going to get a loan for a house. I'm going to get a loan for a car. You're actually indebting yourself, your soul, deeper and deeper and deeper. That tail that you've been chewing on is getting rammed right down your throat, and it's going to take a while to puke that thing up. Okay? Where are we? So, in simple terms here, it's a debt bond value, and it was placed in the birth certificate based on the assumed accruement of taxes, loans, and debts a child is expected to pay or incur as long as they are part of this fraud upon humanity, as long as they have a name, use a legal name, commit fraud after fraud after fraud, and keep empowering that birth certificate. Okay? No, that's not profiling at all, is it? Yeah, of course they do. Sorry, just checking something else here. All right. Command and control. Guys, the courts and the governments are powerless here. The real go-getters, the real contractors of the Narmer palette for the name, and for those that may be new here, go look up Narmer palette. I've got it mentioned in a few different things, essays, whatever. And also we've done shows on this as to what the relevance of the Narmer palette is. And in short form, it's this. It's the original curse. To me, that was the first pharaoh, King Mean, or Aha, who was like 0. That's where all the histories got changed. But King Mean, this Narmer palette, which is the little booklet that cops like to open up to get your name into their Book of the Dead. The Narmer palette is the Book of the Dead. It's a spiritual contracting to an external god outside of oneself. That's what the pharaohs attempted to do. And that goes back to the Hyksos and a lot of history there. If you want to research it, knock yourself out. I just like making it really clear. If you have a name, it's attached to the Narmer palette. You agree to be that name, legal name, whatever. You are now instantly and immediately under contract, spiritually, to the dark principality, and there's fuck all you can do about it until you wake up to what I'm telling you right now. And it's just a change of mind. There's no paperwork in this. You just got to get these concepts. You've just got to admit to yourself that you've been duped, you've been wrong, you've been hoodwinked, you've been screwed over for your entire life, and you've got to be okay with it. Because there's no point in crying over spilt milk here. I'm here to clean the milk up. You can cry and winch and scream. I've done enough of that. And I've done it live on air many times. Go ahead, top that. Okay? I'm done with that. We're here to clean the milk up. So put down your little rattles that you want to beat people over the head with. Put down your vengeance. Or keep going circular in the system thinking there's a remedy, which there isn't. You haven't even got past the straw man or the scarecrow on the yellow brick road walk yet. And you're certainly a long way off finding your heart from the Tin Man, and most certainly a hell of a long way off of getting your courage to stand in this truth. Yeah, there's going to come a point where you're going to bitch slap your cowardly lion and you're going to become the real one. All right. The real command and control is at the police level. Lice, spirit seed lice. They are the enforcers for the Narmer palette. That's why they carry one. They might call it the little notebook, and it's the first thing they flip open. And what's the first thing a cop asks you? You got some ID? What's your name? Got some ID? You got some identification? Do you have ID? So you're not going to identify? You got some ID? Got a name? 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 They're fucking parrots. Parrot sites. Go ahead. Google any cop video on YouTube, and the first words out of their monkey mouths is, do you have a name? What's your name? Got a name? Got to get a name. And this is what is drilled into these monkeys, the good guys and the bad guys, okay? Because I know there's a lot of good people that had good intentions, but they're getting screwed over. These are the ones I want to extract from that. And they're the ones that can actually take that evil down from inside. That's what has to happen with these guys. No, there's no just walking away from it. You made a deal with the devil. And here's the thing. Anyone that's signed an oath to be a police officer or military, you are under full spiritual contract until you become aware of this. You are owned by the devil. And that payment's coming due very quickly right now. So you might want to get on that. Just start changing your mind. Quit fighting these concepts that I'm sharing. Just have a look at them. There's your front line. And I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to go back to March 14th of this year. If you want to hear the full power of what I'm talking about, it's me with no identification, no VINs, vehicle identification numbers in the car, expired plates, a very high-profile, quote, target, if you will. Can't touch me anyway. Within the system, I've taken on countless levels of government, whatever. So why did they run away from me? Because I know the spiritual power of what it is I'm talking about. That's the part that most people can't fathom. They can't stomach it because they've been so convinced that they're meat sticks. They have no concept of being a spiritual being or God. The only sense of spirituality most people have on this planet is what some imam or rabbi or preacher or pedophile priest, and they're all pedophiles as far as I'm concerned, has rammed down their throats and put so much fear of hell and death and destruction into them that they dare not be deviant little children and go seeking the truth. Because if you go looking for the truth, you see that guy on the cross there? That's what we're going to fucking do to you. And that's exactly what Jesus was doing in the allegory. He was the truther radical. This guy was radical. All the truthers were. That's why the system came up against them, because they were exposing the true demon nature of it. But they didn't know who they were. fully. And they're only allegories anyway, right? These people didn't, as far as I'm concerned, never existed, didn't walk on the planet. There was variations of them, but again, these are stories that were written by Greeks and translated, King James Version, I think 1611 or whatever. I mean, there's still things written by others. So again, everything you take with a grain of salt, and you feel your way through this. But I'll tell you this right now, you kill it at the cop level, you kill it at all levels, right up to those that are ruling this demonic realm. You kill them dead. You take them out of your reality completely. It's what they call untouchable. It's what they call a bulletproof monk, if you will. That one's a really tough one to get your head around because it can't be that simple, Kate. Yeah, it is. And it ain't up to me to get it. It's up to you to let go of all the idiocy that you have sucked into your brain, that has been rammed down your throat. You've been taught completely wrong histories. You didn't know of all the spells contained within the phonics of the words. You weren't taught anything worth shit. But you were taught enough to figure it out. Why? Well, I did. So you must have been taught enough. So here's the bottom line. The courts and the governments are the system slaves. The courts have no power. They work for the cops. So do the governments. And the cops work for the bankers and the religious elites and those that control this demonic realm. They're the layers of the sandwich. They're the pieces of the bread. You take out the lower slice of bread, the whole filler collapses, and that top piece hits the ground butter side down. Savvy? And you know how annoying it is to try to pick up a slice of bread with lots of butter on it when it hits the floor face down. And that's what you do to the demonic nature. And have a good giggle when you do it. It's quite fun. The courts and all the rest, and lawyers and all the rest of these idiots, they're bought and paid for. They're bought with their egos. They like their flashy cars and their expensive homes and all the rest of it. They are owned lock, stock, and barrel. They are completely possessed of the possessions. And it's so easy to control people with illusions. Oh, here's lots of fake money. Oh, good. And of course, we, the real producers on this planet, buy into it. But wait a minute, who prints all this money? Where does it really come from? How do you know it isn't some guy in a basement with one machine churning out $100 bill after $100 bill? How do you know? Well, I saw pictures of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, that's only one place. Seriously. So they are the bought and paid for, where the true command and control aspects are the police, the spirit seed lice, police, and the military. Okay, they're the armed enforcers, and 99% of these, it depends. Maybe about 97 or 98% of these guys and girls that work for these demonic forces don't even know they are. And they're the frontline dogs and fear contractors. Of course, they're the ones in the front line. Not only are they there to contract an armor pallet, anyone that is an idiot, a real criminal, violent. I mean, they're the ones in the front line to take all the hits for them. For what? Table scraps? Yeah. You're nothing. The elite have said this for eons. The military and the police, they're the dogs, the werewolves for the vampires. That's what you were thought of as. And when I see a uniform, all I see is a fucking monkey, and the only thing missing is the guy with the little machine that makes the music, where the monkey goes around and collects the money and gets handed a couple of peanuts. That's what a cop or a military guy is. And I don't care what fucking rank you are. I don't care if you're an admiral, a general, a corporal, a private, lieutenant. I don't give a shit. You're all monkey meat. Wake up. Yeah, they're the fear contractors for those above the courts and governments, such as the banks and religions and those that control them. The courts and governments are merely the filler for this sandwich of deception and delusion. And without the ability to contract via any all name, sorry, I don't have a name. Oh, who am I? Well, I'm me. Where do you live? Well, I point at my chest. I live right here. Is this your car? Yeah, well, I got the key. Can't you say, oh, I can see the key. Well, aren't you clever? You go to my D, and my first reaction always wants to be, what, you can't fucking see and hear me? Are you insane? Have you escaped from somewhere? I mean, it even says in Black's Law that the whole purpose of a cop is false impersonation. It's right in the definition. There's a copy of Black's Law, 9th, on my website. Go look up false impersonation or impersonation. Usually a police officer with the intent to deceive someone. Huh. Not like they tell you right up front, huh? And that's for all the cops out there. Have a read it. It's right there in black and white, in Black's Law, the Black's Magic book. I know how to read that book, and it ain't literal. Usually a law enforcement officer for the purpose of deceiving someone. It doesn't say for someone pretending to be a law enforcement officer. No, but that's what everybody assumes. It's usually a law enforcement officer for the purpose of deceiving someone. And that's all you are, frontline fear contractors, to dupe not only yourself, and there's that word license, same thing. It means you're sexually and morally depraved criminal out there harming humanity. I mean, if you can't do it for yourself, maybe think of your family, your children, your community, your friends, and all of those that you are literally enslaving spiritually. It's got nothing to do with the money. I told you, that's a distraction. You are spiritually enslaving these people. You're saying that I want you to go down on this ship with me, okay? Okay. Crazy. Where was it? Yeah, the courts and governments are merely the filler for this sandwich of deception and illusion. Without the ability to contract via any all names at the frontline level, the whole system of control is destroyed. No name, no game. Most importantly, those at the very top of the spiritual slavery pyramid, and they know this. Without the name, all levels above are ultimately annihilated completely. They are. They're destroyed. The spiritual contract is destroyed. Oh, but Kate, how do I do it? Shut up. I can hear it. How do I do it? Shut up. Every time you ask a question like that, you just hear my voice saying, shut up. Sit and the answer will come to you. Or better yet, how about this? The question you're asking me, use the same answer that you gave me when I asked you that question. When I started out on this path, where I went all in. And I keep telling people, you don't have to do what I did. That was my job, but you've got to do something. And you've got to do whatever you can at your level. And I don't care if you're on disability check or something. And I mean you're really making the effort and the intent within this. Absolutely, because you're destroying that disability money intent of being a victim into being the victor and using it against the system. Just getting the word out to people. You're transmuting that slave spirit energy that was trapped in a birth certificate. You're setting it free. Now, on the other side, these government benefits and everything else just to fill their own greed, their own face, their own selfish victimhood, well, then they're going down. That's okay. Let them do it. Like I said, just let them drown. Right at the end, I said, let them drown. You don't care enough about you to save you, then why the hell should I? What's the point in throwing someone a life ring if they're just going to keep pushing it away? What's the point in rowing all the way out there with a boat to save them while they continually swim away from you? How about you do yourself a favor, pick up that oar and smash them in the fucking head. Put them out of their misery. Like I say, plant the seed, move along. It's an allegory, guys. Lighten up. I wish no harm in anyone. It's just the way I deliver things, guys. I need this just to sink in, and I don't mind being brutally honest and hated for it. So again, without the name at all levels, or without the name at the frontline level, all levels above are ultimately annihilated completely. You know this. You don't have to worry about courts. You don't have to worry about foreclosures. They got to contract the name, and somebody asks you, are you so-and-so? No, I'm just me. Have a nice day. Close the door, walk away. You can be anything you want. Another little contract you might want to mentally break right now is your mailbox that you have is saying that you accept all contracts coming to you because you have a mailbox. That's a fact. Well, you got a mailbox inside of your house? I don't care if it's one that you have to walk down to and unlock. If you go down to unlock it, you are creating the contract for yourself. Until you unlock that key, that contract hasn't been delivered. As soon as you open it up, you've allowed all of that energy in. So just think about that at your, your little lockbox mailboxes. That's why they do that, because we've removed that assumption. That's why these mailbox centers have been opening up in communities. They don't want to. We've pushed that fraud back. They can't just assume delivery to a home anymore. That's been dispelled. Look at how fast that has grown in the last year or two. The mere fact now you have to go and willfully unlock your own mailbox from the other side, and as soon as you unlock that, you've opened Pandora's box, and every contract in there you are contracted to. And I don't care if it's a DVD special. I don't care if it's a court, anything. But the instant you open that mailbox, this might make you think twice about opening your mailbox tomorrow or Monday, right? Good. You should have seen the reaction I got when I took the mailbox off the side of my house. Oh, yeah, they were quick to react. Because that stops all contracts, period, right there. No, that's why they had to grab me on the street. They couldn't get me on the land. Funny that, eh? Anyway, so here we go. Oh, yeah, I scared them. The Triple Crown. This one's really simple, guys. This consists of Rome, City of London, Crown Corporation, and Washington, D.C. That's the religion, the money, and the military. That's a pretty good control mechanism, don't you think? I thought so, too. You want to do the research on it, look up the St. Peter's Keys, look up the Triple Crown, have a look at the little fish head hats they wear, and listen back to, a couple 100 hours of stuff that myself, Santo, Bill Donahue, and all the rest of us have all already talked about. It's so like yesterday. And that's the crux of the entire control system. I've covered the allegory of what the crown is, the crow, the spine, the cause, and all the rest of it. It was all hidden in the phonics. Lots of stuff on the website. Go there. Again, this was just a synopsis of everything. People want to research it beyond that, knock yourselves out. But it really is as simple as the name is the game. And as soon as you understand that, you remove yourself from the Narmer palette, you put yourself in the book of life, and you've removed yourself from the book of the dead. And you don't need to contact a Secretary of State or anything to say, I want my DNA from the Library of Congress back. What? It's crazy. I played all those physical games. I just stopped doing it because I knew how worthless it was. You are the gunpowder for any paperwork, not the words on the page, and you better understand what the words mean. They got way more meanings than you ever thought of. The dictionary, by the way, is the last book you look at. You better start opening your ears and start seeing with your ears and hearing with your eyes. And lots of essays on that, too. Lots of shows, especially over the last month or so. 7, Principalities of Darkness. That's what we're dealing with here. Basically, it's the good guys and the bad guys. Heaven and hell. Or heaven and earth, rather. Right? Well, the earth is... I love that one video that you've got heaven, the abyss, and the underworld. This is the in-between worlds right here. This is Middle Earth, okay? Tolkien laid out pretty clear as well. And the game is to capture souls. Again, back to Ghost Ship. And the only way you can capture souls is to get a soul, a real living soul, to agree with you or with something. And if those soulless entities that are pure evil can trick you into agreeing with them, then you've given them life. You've given them the power of your creation. And, well, they go down, you go down with them. So this is about changing your mind. We're not dealing with physical things here. We're dealing with principalities of darkness. I would urge you to listen to Sevan, Bomar, Mark Passio, okay? I mean, these guys get right into it. Actually, I've got Mark Passio coming up. What's the date today? Not that I pay much attention, so it's the 19th. I believe Wednesday. 23rd of April, anyway. I got Mark Passio is coming on the table and having a little sit-around with us. And that's going to be an awesome night. I've always enjoyed talking with Mark. Again, one of the short list of people that has anything of real value now to bring to this table. Sevan Bomar and Mark Passio, and there are a handful of others. A very, very short list of people that can come to this table and play at this level. And I'm not saying this is not an ego thing. This is just a reality. It's like I'm going to, challenge the Carl Lentzes and the Kurt Kallenbachs and the Tammy Peppermints and the Dean Cliffords and all the rest of these guys. Why are you guys still fighting in courts? Why are you guys still looking for legal remedy? Is it not clear enough? Is the British government itself not being clear enough? And Max Egan, everybody, all of them. They've not been clear enough saying that any use of the name, legal name, is fraud. That was 3 years ago, guys. I've been saying the same story for 3 years. It's mind-numbing. It's absolutely retarded. But the principalities of darkness, this is the true nature of the game. If they can get you to consent to being on their side, then they will seal you. Every promise you have made. That's why the birth certificate is given under seal. And the seal is mom or dad's DNA as soon as it touches the Book of the Dead, the registration book. That's why you will never see an original. Oh, I've laughed at people who say, oh, I got the original. No, you didn't. You got a fucking photocopy of it. It's in a book, you dope. That original is, you will never see it again. That's a sole contract. The only thing you can do with that is expose the fraud that it is, and it nullifies it. Anything attached to it, connected to it, is done. It's toast. But you've got to become aware of this. But Kate, how do I shut up? See what I mean? I can hear it, I can feel it in there. It's always there. Yeah, now you're seeing the level of the trap. Stop asking me those questions and start seeing the magnitude of the bullshit. And then maybe you might think it's a good idea, like I do, to take the whole system down. Would that be easier? No system. No need for licenses. I don't drive with one. As far as I know, it's like anyone that's got registered certificates of employment and everything else, welders, I don't care what you do, doctors, lawyers, nurses, well, fuck the lawyers, but anyway, doctors as well, because they're just as dumbed down as the rest. But anyway, I'm a registered this, I'm a registered that. I said, yeah, no, you're not. Sure, that's another spiritual contract that you just have to break it mentally. Once you just get the idea, once you get the concept, it's broken. You don't have to do anything other physical. It's just get it. Oh yeah, okay, so that was registered. I didn't want to give that away, and I didn't know I was giving that away. So that's fraud. It's mine. Okay, because at the end of the day, if a registration certificate expires, does the individual that own that suddenly forget their job or their life passion? I tried taping a driver's license to a steering wheel once, and I stood back to see what would happen. Do you know what the car did? Nothing. So I peeled the license back off, and I got in and turned the key. Oh, I didn't need that. Out she goes. I'm looking forward to the day that somebody puts up online the first aviation license, pilot's license, that Orville and Wilbur Wright had to go and get before they took that plane for a fly. Or did they just go to the beach at Kitty Hawk and do it? See my point? I don't think Henry Ford had to really worry about going down to the Ministry of Transport or the Department of Transportation to get a license, and of course had to insure that vehicle. Because that's what unsure minds do, insurance, which means not sure minds. That's what unsure minds do. No, I think Henry's pretty, regardless of whatever Illuminati aspect, I'm just using the allegory. But I don't remember him going down to any government office to get a license. Why? Well, because the car can exist just like the plane can exist, okay? Use your common sense. Or you can keep wearing diapers and let the system take care of you, and you can greedily suck away at the Whore of Babylon's greasy, smelly, filthy, pus-filled tits all you want, and all it's doing is destroying your soul. And if that's what you want, have at her. That's just not something I will do. So there's a basic synopsis of what this is all about. Because in the end, we are life with consciousness. Compassionate, where these entities are consciousness without life, soul, or spirit. They have no ability to be compassionate, to have remorse. They have no ability to be good. They are pure malevolence that simply need obliterated. And that's what's happening right now. The whole system is in a panic. those that had the ability to do benevolent things. Please, and don't be telling me about, how good Pope Francis is because he let a couple of handicapped children or whatever on his Pope mobile. That's why politicians kissed babies, stupid. It's called PR. Are you going to buy it again with your blubbering compassion? Oh, isn't that cute bullshit? Are you going to get duped again? 3-card Monty style? Are you going to believe the talking heads on the news? I think you're a lot cleverer than that. And I don't care how much glam the royal family pedophilic ring organizers, how much glam they put out there. They're nothing but festering sores on humanity. And they have the ability to be benevolent and flip it all around. Are they doing it? Nah, they still head over to France for a weekend and wipe out 50 wild boars just for the shits and giggles of it. Never mind countless species of birds. This is the same bloodline. Elizabeth I, you know the same bloodline? Elizabeth I, her namesake. Very young, married her first marriage was to her brother Alexander. When he got off, she then married her fraternal twin George. And when he died off, well, not to be outdone by just being a total hillbilly freak of nature deliverance style, she marries her fucking son, Charles, better known as Charlemagne. Now, this is going back to, late 1500s, early 1600s, right? Spanish Armada, 1588, Elizabeth I. So what is that? Oh, that's like 400 plus years of mental retardation of genetic code. I actually watched a little snippet of the Queen meeting up with the Pope because I wanted to see what theft they had done from humanity to give each other gifts. And I got to tell you, the Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen were not happy people, and that woman couldn't get out of there fast enough. That woman was looking down with disdain because there's the two main factions eating each other's throats. And there's nothing either faction can do. And as far as Akhenaten, also known as Obama, yeah, you want to talk about bloodlines? Genetically modified? Yes, you are a genetically modified organism. That's why they like feeding them to you, to keep you that way. That's why they like collecting everyone's urine so that they can put it in vitamins, makeup. People won't, urine therapy, that's gross. Well, you take vitamins? Yeah. Well, then you're eating somebody else's piss. What's your issue? You should be taking care of your own and recycling yourself. Bring some of that pure essence, pure spirit water back into you, and that clears a lot of the garbage out right quick. You want to talk about a quick reconnect of your cerebral points, overriding the reptilian? There's the magic water right there, boys and girls. Oh yeah, quite a fun game. So I think I've went over this quite enough. But the bottom line is very simply this. You kill the name at the cop level, you've killed it at every level, right up to those that control the puppets known as the Queen and the Pope and the rest of these idiotic, inbreeding, fucking hillbilly monsters. Yeah, if the Pope was so good, he'd disband religion right now. He would destroy all of the control mechanisms. There'd be pedophiles hanging from the yardarms. There'd be corrupt bankers, corrupt presidents, corrupt prime ministers, corrupt lawyers, corrupt judges, corrupt cops. Murderers, rapists, the whole bunch of them. The pedophile rings from the RCMP and from all sorts of United States government circles, they'd all be swinging from the yardarm. But I don't see them doing that, do you? Sorry, by one's actions one is known. By omission or commission of a crime, you are guilty. If you know a crime is going on and you do nothing to stop it, you are actually more guilty than the criminal themselves. That was the thing about the Thompson clan. That was the bloodline I was born into. It was more heinous for someone not to come to the aid of someone that was being robbed or whatever. And if it was found out that you knew about it, could have done something and didn't, you were hung on the spot. The actual criminal, well, they got a trial. Because at least they had an excuse for their idiocy. Someone harming another being witnessed. And that goes out to all you guys that like to get your little YouTube fame by videotaping innocent people getting bludgeoned by 3 or 4 of these meat stick jarhead dogs, Bioborg, soulless pieces of crap. You want to call them cops. I just call them shit for what they are. Okay? Instead of watching them with the camera, looking for the YouTube, oh, look, I'm going to get this YouTube, get lots of likes and hits and everything. How about you step up? No name, they're the game. Start knocking some heads. Start defending your fellow humans. They're being preyed on by the reptilian mental aspect. And this game plays at many, many levels. It plays out in all sorts of effects. But there's only one cause. And you're it. What do you want to be cause of? The continuation of it or the destruction of it? And the name takes it all down. Okay, Saturday night rant over. Let's get these lines open here. I've got 617, Brandon. 770, that's a new one. And 416, there's a new one.
There's only one cause. We need it. You're it.
Okay, someone's got their speakers on. Check. Okay. Check. Yeah, 770, you're going to have to turn your speakers down. If you're on the call, you're going to hear the phone call live. Okay, and 416. All right, if you're going to call in, make sure that your speakers are turned down. Otherwise, there's going to be an echo in the background, and I mute the mics out right away. Brandon, we got you? I'll give you guys a second.
Yeah, I was just in the bathroom for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. I'll give these other two a minute just to turn their speakers down, because when you're in the call, you're actually in the show. There's no point in listening to it again. And don't worry, it's on a recording. You'll hear your beautiful voice on the recording. It's really cool. Yeah, I know. Anyway, Brandon, how are you doing?
All right. I was just re-listening. Speaking of the devil, YouTube and everything, I heard a podcast that I talked on. I guess I don't know. And was listening to myself just handle the table with, I think, Colleen and Steve and Mark. And it was just the 4 of us chatting, and it was pretty cool, actually, listening back. And you had just left the table for a moment, and it was kind of cool just to listen to that and just to see the evolution to where you are right now. Right now, you're untouchable, and you're on a level where like you're poking holes. The reason why I came to this table is because I saw so many holes in the system, as you see, in the legal system, in the words, and so many places. So that's why I came here, saying, there are other people like me that see these, let's call them paradoxes or ironies in the universe that, in fact, are we're bound to. People try to make us, think that we're bound to them, but in fact, it's all an invention. History's a lie, as you said. So it's a really good. You're in a fiery mood. I like it, and I'm just happy to be here. I love you all.
Well, I love you right back. And again, it has to be at this level now, and it's going to stay at this level. Because right now, what we're up, well, we're not really up against anything, because anybody that's using a name doesn't have any spiritual cause anyway. So it's a minimum energy that is put out. And that's the thing, too. Even the name that has been captured and the essence of the being, it's because they're at such a low level of awareness, so is their level of power, right? So even the power that gets drained off these entities, it's like when people at this table walked away from the system, those were major power drainages, okay? Those were huge.
Right.
Okay, so for me, a bunch of people that are stuck in a church right now for this weekend, worshiping Ishtar, the whore of Babylon herself.
Exactly.
One of us takes care of millions of them, if not billions. So I just laugh at it.
Yeah. The Easter bunny and an Ishtar bunny, and it was actually pronounced Easter with her bunny, which is the fastest procreating animal. And you wonder why there's an Easter bunny.
Playboy. Yeah, Playboy bunny. Really?
Oh, right. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this whole contract thing as we're talking about the social contract, was a big idea of John Locke and Thomas Hobbes. And right? This was, I don't know, I'm hearing some feedback. But,
sorry. I tried to open the lines up there to see if I can get people in. Mike, I've got Mike in here with us, so sorry to interrupt, Brandon. But the other area code 770 and 416, you have called in and put your hand up. If you're listening on the phone, turn your speakers down, because it's just going to feedback, and I cannot open the line with that going on. Okay, so you're already in the show when you're on the call. You're in real time. There's about I'd say about a 3 or 4 second delay. Okay? Anyway, sorry, Brandon, carry on.
Yeah, so I was saying about contract law, and how it's, you were going on about that, and how, the name is a contract, right? And how we have the contract with the crown given to us by our parents. However, the way I was kind of almost came to the table was looking at that same sort of topic, but almost as a contract under duress. Like a contract is void if it violates certain things, right?
Well, no, okay, and Brandon, let's keep that really simple. You nailed it, but don't complicate it. The intent to use the legal name in the first place was based solely and completely upon fraud and intent to commit fraud. Upon this realization, that fraud contract is nullified.
It was all based on duress.
Not duress, no, ignorance. Let's call it what it is. Okay? Duress is a word for victims that think they're the name and still want to cling on to it. Okay? So but this is great. This is a great line you're on here. So let me carry it through a little bit further. This is what I need to try to really pinpoint this. I'll ask you this. Can it be assumed and presumed by, let's say, a cop, that if you utter the name that was on the birth certificate, even though you've changed your mind on this, if you utter the name, can it be assumed and presumed by a cop that is your name, yes or no?
Of course it can be.
Right. Now, hang on. Just simple answer, yes or no? Yes, it can. So, if it can be assumed, you were not clear enough. This is why it is... The name that you have is yours. Absolutely it's yours. There was deception there. But while the assumption and presumption remains... So if you're talking to anyone in the system, you will never give them a name. You will never offer them a contract to a name. You can use that with your friends and people that aren't going to screw you over, by all means. Do you see the difference?
Oh, I see it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I know.
I just want to make it... I don't want people to think that the name they have they cannot use. What you need to do is completely annihilate it first. And this is why it's so hard. Yes, it is your name. The fraud was there. But it's the assumption and presumption of you walking around and someone in the system. You got to break this habit, and you got to break it completely. Once you break it, it's like someone who is an alcoholic. They stop drinking. And that's great. But they're still under control by the alcohol, by thinking they cannot drink it. What alcoholism, give you an example. I grew up with, I watched it kill my mom. What it is a complete lack of self-control. Someone can drink and then choose not to drink. The difference between alcoholism and, casual drinking, and I hate using this as an example, but it works, is alcohol controls an alcoholic, whereas a casual drinker controls the alcohol. I can choose to have a glass of wine and walk away for a month or two, maybe have a beer. And then I can actually choose to have two or three glasses of wine for a week straight, and then whatever. So that's the difference. We're nameaholics. You get it?
Yeah, nameaholics on a mistake.
You be selective where you use your name drink. You don't use it with those that are nameaholics. Cops, lawyers, judges, city officials, government officials, anything. They're nameaholics. They are drunk on the name. And they want more names. They want more drinkies because they're out of control.
And you are not that name.
Okay, so take control of your name. You don't want to feed the nameaholic more booze. You know what I'm saying? I think I got an essay coming up. I'm going to call it Nameaholic. That works.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to open these guys up again, Brandon, but keep going.
No, that's all. No, I'm just with you, Kate. That's all. I'm here.
There we go. It sounds like 770's got it. And 416? Yes, thank you guys for turning your speakers down because I want to hear from you. And Michael, you're in too, buddy. Anybody else want to? Yeah, who we got?
It's Richard.
How are you?
How are you?
Oh, good. Kicking a little keister tonight, that's all.
Yes, you are. Like always.
Having some fun.
Absolutely.
Are you a nameaholic? My name is Kate. I used to be a nameaholic. It's going to be a great inspiration. Thank you, Brandon. What a great inspiration. Perfect.
Yeah, that's the title of the show.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I'm lovable.
I'm listening.
I'm beautiful. That's how I am. How are you? Beautiful also, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of, we've only got like 5 minutes left here, guys, so we'll roll over for a few minutes. I didn't want to do the... Wow, I talked a lot tonight. Holy, I didn't think it was that long.
Hey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, I just wanted to ask some questions about when you dislocate from the system, in terms of supporting yourself once you remove yourself from the system, so you no longer have your SIN number, so you can't apply for the job market that requires you to apply with the SIN number. What do you think we should we create like a market basically also? Let's say when you go and you buy your groceries, for example, you still use currency, right?
Well, again, it's about the intent, and this is the critical point that people have the hardest jump to get to, because everyone's still thinking in a physical sense. What you're talking about there is to create another market is like you got a wound on one leg that you can't get healed, so you finally stitch it up as you open another wound on the other leg. Okay, so that's basically robbing Peter to pay Paul because you piss Mary off kind of thing, right? So. You fall back on the universe.
No, I understand that money is an IOU. Okay, so how do we go? Some of the chats inside Skype, work for yourself. I understand.
Not even necessary.
I'm thinking
it all goes back to all is self. If you realize all is self and the system is contained within you, you're at the control point. It's not it's like Kate said earlier, you control the thing. So it doesn't matter what you do because your intent is completely changed. All is self. Generally, where we've been operating from is we thought we were within the system, at the mercy of it. No, you're actually outside of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And really, what we're talking about here is the quantum spiritual leap. And where most people are, they're standing at the abyss, right? And it's kind of funny because when you step out, don't worry, it's like the... Raiders of the Lost Ark, what was that one? The third movie, I think it was, with Sean Connery in it, whatever. When the last phase to get to the Holy Grail was he had to step out into the abyss, and it was only an illusion, you see, because when they brought the camera around, you could see that it was actually a walkway that blended in with its surroundings, so it looked like it wasn't there. And that's exactly what the step or leap of faith is. It's there. Trust me, it is there. You just have to trust in it.
No,
it's like you
Brilliant.
you can now do the
I
same
understand
exact
that. I understand that currency is an illusion. You know, it's a proxy for our time and our attention. But everybody is playing along. So in order for you to coexist within the system, let's say if I want to go to a grocery store and I want to buy food, you know, just to sustain myself, I need to play along. If I want to disconnect from this system, aside from me, let's say, growing food on my own in my backyard, which can only be, you know, part of the season.
Okay. I know where you're going. I've heard this question 1,000 times, so I'm going to answer it the same way I always do. You still don't trust yourself enough, and this is where you got to take the time and stop trying to solve physical problems with physical means. You've got to solve this spiritually, and I know that sounds like a really big deal. It's not. It is literally it's just falling into the arms of the universe. And currency, I will tell you, is not an illusion. Currency is the real power source. It has been transmuted into a physical illusion. That money contains if you took one single Federal Reserve note and cut it up into 7.3 billion pieces, that's how many points of soul are contained. Well, you can take mine and a couple 100,000 others out now, but that's what's attached to that. So when you remove yourself from that, you've now changed the intent of that money, and you've changed it to your currency. So what happens now is, because my intent is not to get rich, obviously not, because you talk about how did I survive and whatever. Well, for the first year and a half, I went through pretty much every bit of silver I had to stay alive. And so we're talking. Not only do I give truth away, songs, whatever, because truth is for all. You cannot charge anything for it. It cost me the best part of $500,000 to be able to deliver it to you. And I'm not even going to bring the family aspect into it, the priceless part. I'm going to talk in physical means only.
Here's another clear part. And this is what helps me. And I share this with people around here. It's like if I go somewhere to work, I let them know I'm the boss. Even if I'm the guy raking the leaves, I'm the boss of the whole creation. And what I'm saying is, whichever way you think you're getting that external currency from a job, another person you helped out, or whatever, from you, you're giving it to you. We're still playing that externalization duality game where we think we receive our currency we live from outside. We don't. We have an infinite abundant inside. This is what we're waking up to. Well, we do it outside. How we can help change our mind from being locked into this old paradigm is to recognize, oh, wait, so every money that I'm receiving is coming from me. And I've been, kind of circling it around there to bring it back to me. And this is, the illusion there is that you thought you received it from someone else, that it came from them. It originally came from you through someone else back to you. We're realizing we no longer have to put that middleman in there because we are infinite. We have infinite worth. And now that's the divine abundance we're talking about. So when we change, your mind will no longer be stuck on that old perspective. It's just going to move off of it, and you're going to go, oh, wow, now I see it. And you recognize it as such. So whether you have any type of job, this is where it changes. You now know that you created it.
Exactly. You got to bring the power back to you.
Okay, hold on a second. So, but again, we want to get off the SIN number, the social insurance number, the name. So once we get off that, you're saying change the mentality. When you go into a job, you're the co-creator of your labor.
If you need to get off of it to realize that, then you're going to have to do that. If you already recognize that it's worthless and fictional, play with it. Now your intents change. You know what it is. It's nothing. It's worthless. We're still using it in this old paradigm to play out this end. That's it. You're not saving for retirement. I need this till I get old age. That's gone also.
Yeah, you got to become the.
Okay, are you still using your SIN number? Or
no, God! Oh my God! You must be a new. You must be a new listener.
I am a new listener.
Yeah, I haven't had ID for over 3 years, bud. My car has expired plates. It's got no VIN numbers. I haven't carried ID in years.
So Kate's showing you from one perspective, from hers, what she needed to do to be free. She had to give it all up, and I know a few others like this. Everything went in the fire. Everything had to go for their mind to break free of the old paradigm. And now,
when we
say it to others,
when they stop you on the side of the road and they ask you for your shit and you don't provide it,
okay, how
long?
Okay, here, how long have you been listening? Approximately.
How long have I been listening? For what? To the show?
Yeah.
I've been kind of eavesdropping, over the past year, just in and out,
Okay, well,
I
tell you what.
understand some of the concepts.
Okay, here I'm going to answer your question with what happens when Goonies, police, try to come into my auric field. So listen to March 14th. You go to YouTube, and it's Kate of Gaia. Type in Kate of Gaia, The Confrontation in YouTube, and listen to that episode. Start about the 20-minute mark when the OPP showed up, right to the point where I ran them off.
Okay, this really shows us our
live on air
attachment.
I know.
I think that happened with me. There was one.
If you don't have an attachment to your name or your possession,
you won't have a game. What am I searching for again?
Kate of Gaia, OPP, right?
No, Kate of Gaia on YouTube, right? Get your crayons out, guys. On YouTube, Kate of Gaia, The Confrontation. It's from March 14th, radio show. I ran them off live on air, okay?
So easy to find stuff now, Kate. I mean, the guys who are putting this stuff on YouTube, not just for you, for a few others. Wow, man. I don't have to look far, man. It's just like, boom, here it is.
Okay, I found it.
So what you got to remember here, and it's important to remember this, guys.
Excuse me. Can I get in here a minute?
Yeah.
Hello?
Go for it.
Yes?
Hold that thought, Mike.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for people to stop jumping all over each other. So go ahead, please.
770. Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
Okay. I just want to say that I've been listening to you for a while, and Kate, you're 100% correct on everything you say. What I want to know is, when you were in your car and you drove off to find a place to sleep, and oh God, I can just imagine, because I've been there. And when you got deep, got dark, and got quiet, did you start seeing those images coming through? Did you? Of course you did. Those images coming through, and they were one after another, just beautiful images that were you just knew that was the power source.
Waves of green and gold, baby. That's all I see.
Right, and it transcended the language. It was just pure imagery.
Yeah, pure get her done is what I call it.
Yes, it was, and it is, and you just know when you wake up that it's just in you, coming through you.
It is
and
you.
There's nothing you can't touch that will not be a product of that creation.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah,
comes
that
from
is.
us.
Do you know
it's our soul?
Yeah, the joy of this, and it's actually measured equally in the frustration of it, is all I need to do, and this is all anyone needs to do, I just got to stay the course. Just keep doing what I'm doing. Keep reinforcing. Keep putting out the truth, and that's it. I stand in truth, and I push it out. I constantly push it out. And I got to tell you, I don't care how long it takes, but even granite set under a dripping faucet, a hole will get drilled right through it. And that's all we're doing here. But right now, that is not a dripping faucet anymore. That is a fire hose with incredible pressure pushing through that granite and destroying it. And that's essentially what I'm doing. And as much as it's the same thing every night, over and over and over, I know what it's doing, and it's just punching away drip by drip at that granite to finally destroy it. I mean, the Grand Canyon, right? There it is, all done by water. So,
Kate, what's come just so clear to me again, and it's just like hearing, thank you all coming in Emerald Table and sharing, these parts, because it helps, it assists all of us to see the actuality clearer as it is, and that if you got problems in the physical, you haven't dealt with something in the spiritual level. This is it. This is an inside game. So we can keep going, man, I got this cough I got to deal with, or that I got to deal with. There's something inside on a spiritual level you haven't dealt with yet. That's why you're getting that drama out on a physical level. This goes on all levels.
If you will embrace that, if you will embrace your internal strength, and you will accept the fact that you are truly from the light, and that darkness that you come from is both your mother and your father, and that you are the most beautiful thing that was ever created, and that Kate gives you the language speaking from the eternal source, and that you will live forever, and there will nothing ever come against that. You wield the power of 1,000 orchestras. You are beautiful. And Kate gives you the face and the art and the grace.
And the bit
she
slap.
Has put it in her language. You really have, Kate. You're my sister. You're everything that I've looked for my whole life, because I know it's in me. It's in me.
It is you.
It's in me.
I feel
it is
your
me.
content from here, brother.
Me.
We are connected. Thank you so much, man.
Yes. We are one. And this pathetic freaking game we have played is over. And Kate has dealt the final blow. And I stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you. The artists, the poets, the musicians, and I am a carpenter, the builder. I will build your homes, and you will sing the songs and write the most beautiful stories, because I am you, and you are me. And Kate, you are my face. You are my face on this world. I love you.
Mirror, mirror, love you right back. That's why I do this, and as tacky as it sounds, I do it because you matter that much to me.
Yes, you do matter. Matter. Would you break that word down for me?
Oh, matter. Well, again, you can have the mat, or from the Tiamat. Again, these about breaking them down. Simply put, it's just to me, it is the physical manifestation coming from source, right? So, again, this is the as above, so below. The physical manifestation is merely the shadow of the spirit itself. One thing I want to touch on before I forget tonight, and it goes back to that March 14th evening, because I'll tell you, when I was sitting there and that OPP cruiser came up the first time, I'm thinking, oh, great, here I am telling everybody I'm untouchable and invisible, and here they are, right? And I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do here? And this is going off in my head, I'm on air at this point already, right? So it's going through my head, and I'm thinking to myself, and you know what came back? Kate, you finally got it, and this is the universe giving you the opportunity to show live on air everything that you were saying is absolutely true. Have fun. And that's where I sat, in that energy. I'm thinking, perfect, now I get the opportunity to show people that, yes, I am untouchable. So for that brief instant, made visible to show everyone that everything that I've been talking about. See, that's the thing, is I don't speak from theory. I speak from experience. I've lived these things. And I know many of you, and you all know this. You all know who you are. You all know that you were right all along. You always knew there was something missing and that you had something to do here. And that's what we're doing now, is we're getting collectively together in our beautiful, unique, completely unique frequencies that only we have individually as parts of the all, coming together in that, and I loved how you used the word symphony. Yes, this is the symphony where all the instruments are gathering into one orchestra pit. And this is the song of the universe. This is the one verse, the one truth of all creation.
Okay. I'm reaching out right now with my hand, and I'm grabbing hold of yours. And I'm grabbing a hold of everybody who's listening to this right now with my hand and my heart. And I want you to all grab my hand. I love you all.
Already there.
We are spirit. We are forever. And we will bring this system down because we are, for lack of a better term, God Almighty. That is what we are. Nothing will stop that.
Absolutely.
I love you.
Love you too.
I love you all.
Now let me put that in the mirror and show you the real thing. I'll tell you, right in the complete opposite and equal mirror, I got nothing better to do. So I thought, what the hell? Let's take a planetary system down and set the whole place free. Huh? Works for me.
Fucking A.
Love. Hey, chime in real quick. Tomorrow, I'm going to go tomorrow, in the a.m., or maybe it's, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's time we go there. The Supreme Human Being, Astral Quest.
That's right.
Oh, hey.
This is our world. We take it down.
7 in a few hours, people.
And what time is that at?
11 a.m. Eastern Time, right when you be getting up, Kate.
Oh, 11. Oh, tomorrow morning. Oh, yes. But okay, good.
So 5 a.m. in the dream time here. 11 a.m. in the Eastern dream time. I'm already feeling it, brother. You just tuned it in, and then I look online, all of a sudden, boom, 7. The Supreme Human Being. This is what we are.
Do you know my favorite?
That's right.
We're here.
My favorite time of day? My favorite time of day is when just as I'm waking up, and then I just stay there for as long as I can in between worlds of being not asleep but not awake. And the shit that shows up is just beautiful. I get to reanalyze the dream that I normally would not be aware of if I didn't take the time to do this. I used to feel so guilty about it. Oh, you're not sleeping. And so now I've got myself conditioned into that beautiful middle world, and I get to go back through the dream that I'm still just coming out of, but I'm still in. So I'm looking at it in a fully aware state on both sides. It's freaking amazing. So by 11 o'clock, usually I've had an hour or two of hanging out in that, and I fight to be there because that's the perfect time for Gemini, by the way. so I hang out.
I experienced the same thing in another way, and now I'm finally coming. It's dawning on me again, because I always get up in the dawn, or even before the dawn. Is that when we talk about there's no more separation between the spirit and the physical, that's also with what we see outside. As you said so clearly, the physical is a shadow of the spiritual. So what you're seeing with your eyes open is actually also the spiritual also. You're seeing all the dimensions. We're getting our clearer vision, so to say, the clear face. And we're recognizing this and remembering this. And so
remember, can I jump in here a minute, Mike?
Please do.
Yeah, remembering. Yeah. I remember all this from the pre-existence. Use that word however you want. But that was how it was set. We were shown how this was supposed to be, and then we come in here and then we live it out. So it was already written, the Alpha and Omega. I see the beginning from the end, and then you come in here and then you live it out. But I remember very clearly all of this that Kate speaks of being shown to me in the pre-existence. So take heart, people. Get rid of that fear. Every moment is in the now. You have the power. Live it. And do not fear it, because it is beautiful. You have untold angels around you. And you are a superstar. And they love you. And you are the utmost hero. I mean, Kate of Gaia, born just a guy in Ireland, moved to Canada. Oh, how boring. Look what she has become. An artist, a writer, a speaker, knows everything that, come on. I wished I could do what you do, Kate. I really do. I wished I could say it like you say it.
You know what else you do?
You do.
I get it. I get it 100%,
I'm just another point of view. I am just that nagging bitch in the back of your mind. That's all I am.
Yeah, nagging bitch in the back of my mind. That's right. And a flying dragon, too, who I will fly with any day. Any day I will fly with.
Do you know what I love watching? I love watching crazy talented people. I don't care if it's BMX bikes or cliff diving or whatever. I'm thinking, wow, that is so awesome that I, in that point of view, can do that. But in this body, not a chance. I'm going to do my silly spirit trick in this body, right? So we're all one. And when we start seeing each other from the what's your neat trick perspective? Oh, this is my neat trick. That's yours. Oh, cool. And it is you. It is you. It's kind of funny.
And let me add this about the flesh, too, okay?
Sure.
I remember looking at the flesh and thinking, oh, if I could just smell a rose, if I could just taste a strawberry, and I wanted to come down into the flesh, but they told me it was painful and that it was fearful and that you would not have the consciousness of the spirit. But I remember a man telling me it would be worth it to walk that road, And so we did. And we're heroes because we did not live like a hero. Because you are. You are a hero. Your flesh is beautiful. I wake up every morning and I thank my hands. I thank my feet, my body, my beautiful body. I love my body. I love it. I love the air. I love the sun. I love the earth. And I love the humans and horses and dogs. I love them. And they're great. And we will return to the Spirit. We will. And they will open their arms and they will thank you, the greatest thing in the world. And little spirits will want to be like you. They will. They'll want to follow your footsteps.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
You are God. You are God.
So many people waiting to give thanks to us, each and every one of us.
Yes, they want to be you. You're a hero. You're awesome. All of you. Now stop being afraid. Throw that freaking idea away. I'm going to pound my goddamn driver's license into dirt. Kate, I will fucking sacrifice that license plate on my truck for you, baby. I will. I'll throw it off my truck. I will throw that license in the trash There is no way paperwork will ever hold me down. It is sound. It is not what's written. It is sound that matters. Sound.
Create it from the heart.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
that's. I gotta tell you the joy I felt when I ripped the VINs out of. Well, not this wasn't the first car I've done it to, but when I ripped the VINs out of the car, it just feels so good. Like, because that's this is Crown property. There you go. They can have their number. Scrape the one out of the door panel. Right. They're typically in cars. You'll find them on the inside of the driver's door panel, not on the door itself.
I sanded mine off with a sander.
Yeah. I just took a nice sharp knife to it and scraped the living crap out of it. And it's because it's so fulfilling going, get that sponge off my car.
Get the hell out.
And the one on the dashboard was great because I had a long screwdriver, just shoved it into the middle and just gave it a smack, and up she came, both sides gone. Yeah.
And of course, you were right about the cops looking the other way. They look the other way. You ride right past them, and they got their head down in the dashboard. They're looking at other shit. They don't see you.
Nope.
They don't.
Yeah, you fall off the spiritual radar, and I got to tell you, you were talking about losing the fear. Absolutely, because here's the joy of the path that we've walked to get here. Most of the fears, if not all of the fears that people will confront up to this point have already been dealt with, so they don't have to worry about it. They're just going to pass right on through the open doors. This is what it means.
You know what I do with your documents, Kate? I go into the bank now, and I lay them damn documents everywhere, and I go in there and just drop them in front of people. Perfect. I go into restaurants, and I just drop them like I'm freaking Mr. Snowman,
Yeah.
I go down to the copy machine and make 100 of just everything I can just download and just sprinkle it around like trash on the street, because I know dang good well people are going to pick it up.
Yeah, spiritual minefield. You're laying out a spiritual minefield. It's beautiful.
It is. And I don't care if they read it. I don't care. It's too late.
It's already there.
I am a Trojan virus.
It's already there. When you do it, the contract is sealed.
Done.
It's already done.
Done.
And that's I think the point I was trying to make to the gentleman asking about the SIN number and stuff like that. And I get where people are at. I really do. That's why I'll mock it a little bit in terms of like during the show. I get it. I've heard the questions. All you got to do is spend a bit of time with you. I would hazard to say that everything you need to get to this point is on my website. Just read and enjoy it.
It's absolutely there. It's a redundancy. Oh my God, man! You freaking fed it to them, and it's cattle feed now. I mean, it's piles of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't even imagine trying to write one of your documents, and you've wrote hundreds of them. I don't know how many you've wrote. I've read them and read them and read them, and it's all there. Everything is there. Everything is there.
And
download them and sprinkle them out. Look, people, if you can't do it, if you don't have the balls to send them straight to attorneys, which I do, and believe me, I got raked through the coals just like everybody else did. I went through 2 divorces. I could be a tour guide in hell. I guarantee you. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody could scare me. I've been locked up. I've been thrown in jail. I've done all that shit. I've had my businesses stripped from me. I don't care. I'm still alive. I'm still producing. Producing.
That reminds me of something. This is about mostly how, we spend our days, and I don't even want to use that word spend. How our days go. We're not usually dealing with cops and robbers and thieves. We're usually having this situation play out with other people. Friends, neighbors, relatives, loved ones, whoever's in your house, not the police. We just remind ourselves of the police because that's where the game gets played. It gets really intense, and we notice it. But we're doing this on other levels, the same one. And if we're not realizing it there, we get to dance with the bigger asshole. The guy with the bigger ego than yourself is now going to come to your door with the new costume on. I'm the policeman. I'm the authority. I heard you wanted to play. The name game? Let's go. So you won't have to come to this and this is just sitting at home thinking just, hey, how's my day going to go? Don't imagine that. Realize, wait a second, where am I doing most of my day where I've got this lesson to learn? Because it's generally this lesson isn't learned with the police or whatever. We're not we don't need to take it to that level of density, actually. We don't need to contract. They don't need to contract us anymore either. Hell, thank you. Take off your costs.
Nope. And guys, I'm going to cover this even more tomorrow night and really stay the course on this. What I do want to do is not that I want to talk all night, but I want to roll out of here. But I was able to load up a song, and it's Richard, right? Did I get it right?
Richard. Yeah, Richard? You can call me Richard. You can call me anything you want to, Kate.
Okay, well, here you reminded me of a song that I wanted to get uploaded that I haven't played for you guys yet, and it was off the Nature of the Game album. And ironically and coincidentally enough, the song is called It Is You. So I'm going to close tonight off with this, and then we're going to roll it back in tomorrow night. And we're going to keep drilling this home because we've got the Easter or Ishtar weekend that we're taking that satanic beast to task and down to the pit with it. And that's what this energy is.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Please
one more thing, just real quick. Yeah. If anybody out there can give Kate a place to live in paradise, please do. Okay? She deserves it. All right? Fucking Canada is cold. It's beautiful in the summertime. It really is. But she deserves paradise, okay? So anybody out there that can produce a castle for this queen, do it.
I gotta tell you, I've got a nice little slice of paradise with the people I'm around right now, and the universe has delivered marvelously, and it's like this. When I go
Wonderful.
home,
if you ever want to come south, Kate, if you ever want to come south, you call this number, baby. I will put you up on the beach. I promise you.
Well, that's
you deserve
beautiful.
it.
Thank you.
You know, you're a wonderful person. You're the best thing I've ever heard in the media. You deserve everything. Everything.
And mirror, mirror.
Everything.
And I got to tell you guys, that's all I want for you. Everything.
Yes, I know you do, Kate. I love you so much.
And when we do this,
I love
baby,
all of you. I love all of you.
Man. This, I'm looking forward to it, and that moment is coming so fast right now. We're all going to look at each other and go, how cool is that? That's it.
Kate, I will see you on the beach.
Yep. We're not just saving Private Ryan here. We're saving an entire universe. So I will see you on the the beach.
You will see me on the beach.
Exactly. So here's the tune I'm going to close off with. This one is for everybody with a little special nudge towards Richard. Thank you so much, my friend. It is
Thank you.
I'll catch you guys tomorrow night. So much love, and stay the course.
Love.
And I'm here. And
stay the course.
You're going to call in tomorrow night too, right? Good. Okay. Excellent.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Answer it thing, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like we get.
Yeah, and I want to hear our brothers who live there, living out near Barbara, the two twins.
Yes,
hey guys, I want to hear from you.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay, guys, here it is. This is for you, and it is you. And on that happy note, boys and girls, we'll catch you guys tomorrow night. So thanks again, and just a quick thank you to Paul G. and the rest of the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk, and to all of you who are standing shoulder to shoulder, pushing this cutting edge of consciousness right through and ripping this universe a brand new benevolent one, and it's beautiful. And you need to know that it is you that is doing it, and we do this together. You're not walking alone anymore. We're now walking alone, all one.
Yes.
That's the difference. So much love to everybody, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Fair enough?
Yes, fair enough.
All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, love you.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Your parents or family members or adoptive kin, not you. This is an original creation manifested by another that is in turn registered, thus rendering it Crown Corporation property, as previously stated. It is upon this deception that your literal soul was and is enslaved, and upon which all money and debt is created. A debt bond value was placed in the birth certificate based on the assumed accruement of taxes, loans, debts a child is expected to pay as long as they are part of this fraud upon humanity. Example: if someone is expected to pay a certain amount of taxes, etc. in their lifetime, the bond is given a debt value. A child born into a wealthy family will have a higher debt bond value than someone who is of lesser perceived income bracket rating. This is slave trading at its finest, which divides and conquers humanity in the serf, caste, or hierarchy system that encompasses the planet. 5. Command and control. The courts and governments are the system slaves within, bought and paid for, where the true command and control aspects are the police or military as the frontline dogs and fear contractors for those above the courts and governments, such as the banks or religions, and those that control them. The courts and governments are merely the filler for this sandwich of deception and illusion. Without the ability to contract via any or all names at the frontline level, the whole system of control is destroyed. Most importantly, those at the very top of this spiritual slavery pyramid. Without the name, all levels above are ultimately annihilated completely. 6. The Triple Crown. This consists of Rome, City of London, Crown Corporation, and Washington, D.C. They are the unholy trinity of the 3-in-1, 1-in-3, as illustrated clearly in the Papal Crown. Religion to control the beliefs, minds, and spirituality of humanity, the courts and banks to control the money or bonds, and the world police military to quash rebellion and act as frontline contractors of soul extractions. 7. Principalities of darkness. This is the true nature of the game that the vastness of humanity is blind to. Religions have been used to separate you from source by making one believe God is external, and use the Savior program to reinforce this. Money is the tool that is used to keep people in the physical-only realm by getting them to equate an external value on everything, where nothing would exist without the people and their creativity. Physical death and harm is the tool used to clamp down your true essence, which is all creation itself. The tools employed are languages with the corruption of pure frequency intent, with multiple meanings of the same sounds or frequencies, using words and spellings literally, thus dividing and conquering us and redirecting our energy into their creations and control. These entities cannot create anything, since they are soulless and thus utterly powerless. They know this and are absolutely terrified because this spells their doom once and for all. We are life with consciousness, where these entities are consciousness without life, soul, or spirit. They are completely and solely dependent on getting our consent or spiritual contract agreement, and this is easily achieved through the name deception, buying people off, ego comforts, etc. Their whole house of cards or pyramid is based on this fact. We are the fuel for their system vehicle. without spiritual fuel, they're destroyed. The biggest program that we run into with the masses is the sheer disbelief of their own power and who they truly are. A masterful job has been done to get humanity to this level of spiritual weakness and complete ignorance. This was the intent of corrupting the ancient truths, rewriting our past and presenting this in schools, churches, and all levels of ego academia. Repeat a lie often enough, and people will believe it. It is far easier selling a giant lie to the masses than selling us one by one. The media is the main tool of thought direction and manipulation to reinforce the lies we were filled with as children and up to our current state. We have many soulless entities on this planet, with the vast majority being placed in positions of power and control, be it police, courts, media, churches, governments, schools, military at all levels. Fear is their only tool. And once one sees their true immortal nature, one becomes untouchable, literally. The mass hypnosis of humanity is deep, and you will meet all levels of resistance from friends, family, co-workers, etc. So don't bother trying to wake the consenting to be dead. The facts to prove this are all there for all to see, so it is up to them to look, not you. Simply plant the seed and walk away. They are the same as the ones in the allegory of Noah that came to the ark too late. Let them drown. We are now at the culmination of destroying these entities once and for all, and they are pulling out all the fear porn, illusion, and desperation plugs, and in that process, they're sinking their own ship, where I merely hand them a better plug puller now. You and only you can save yourself and no one else, so stop killing yourself trying. Let the dead bury the dead, and perhaps they'll get it on the next pass. But they are not your concern. Stay the course. The path home is the one of truth only, and nothing else. Your willingness to stand in truth is yours alone, and to the degree that you stand will be the same degree that you become untouchable spiritually and, as a result, physically. As above, so below. There is no middle ground here. You're either in or out of Babylon. You are either master or slave, mortal or immortal. The soul, you, are infinite. Where the body is merely a biological computer, you operate. Your computer was infiltrated and corrupted. Reptilian brainstem, fused chromosomes, yada, yada, yada. And separated from the heart source mind. The soulless ones cannot experience compassion, so don't expect them to. They are the same as the Terminator droids in the movies, programmed to control and kill without remorse, and are easy to spot. They are everywhere, including your own family, friends, etc., and all you have to do is feel your way through. Let your instincts and your heart be your guide. We are clearing this reality of these parasites exponentially now, where universal law reigns supreme, where none shall or can trespass. They are masters of deception, so do not let your loving compassion be used against you, something that has been their most powerful, something that has been one of their most powerful tools. The Bioborg entities are already lifeless and are dependent only on being able to suck the life out of you, but, like every vampire, they cannot enter your reality without an invitation. Every use of the legal name is the only invitation they need, so best current that has went up there. I know it's on the site, and I do believe there's actually a Dutch copy of it as well. I'll have to get that website. But I'm going to go through this whole essay first, and then I'm going to come back paragraph by paragraph. So, Giuseppe, if you could, maybe title this one, Babylon is Fallen Synopsis, so that way people they'll know what it is in its entirety. So I'm going to get back to the focus of what we're doing here, and hot on the heels of a couple of musical Let's Just Take a Breath night, and right back into it. High, hard, and fast. That's this game. So that's the game I'm playing. No more time here for anyone or anything being harmed any longer. So once I clear my throat, Okay. Make sure my coffee is handy. That generally works. Okay, so that should have given you guys enough time to get to the cateofgaia.wordpress.com site and get Babylon is Fallen open. And this would be your add-on essay or document to this particular episode if you want to review it again. Like I said, this is a culmination of literally 4 years' work put into a couple of pages here. So anyway, Babylon is Fallen. 1. Name. The master key to the entire system's Crown Corporation's game. The name is the linchpin to the entire legal control construct. Without a legal name, which is your consent by agreeing to be said name, the system vampires cannot literally feed on your lifeblood, creation source energy that is typically shown in the physical materials we collect. It is only the consent to be, use, or have a legal name or mark of the beast that is required for your absolute spiritual contract or deal with the devil motif to be in full force and effect, with you as a slave and them as master. For proof of this, look and see how much of your life or existence involves a legal name, and you will see the measure of control the system has over you. 2. Register or registration, etc. Any or all things registered are fully surrendered with consent to the Crown Corporation, with no legal recourse until such things are removed by exposing the intent by those who serve the Crown Corporation to commit fraud knowingly or unknowingly. An example would be a child that is registered is Crown copyright by ignorant consent, where the truth of registering was not brought forth, which is the original intent by Crown Corporation servants' owners to have people offer their children unknowingly into slavery of soul and thus body. It's the soul they're really after, so keep that in mind. 3. Money, gold, silver, assets, Bitcoin, whatever, etc., are all illusions of value, where you are the true creator of all physical manifestations. Money, external value, has been the tool as a third-party interloper, middleman, that has made draining your power possible. Money or the like only has value if one has been duped into thinking it does. This illusion is the ultimate distraction and destroyer of creator souls, literally. All money is based on the soul contract, commonly known as a birth certificate. 4. Birth certificate. The original sin contract. The name you think or claim as yours is not your creation. Your assumed name was created by, I haven't finished that essay yet, but it will be an addendum to the Babylon is Fallen. I already started the first chapter, and then the Babylon is Fallen kind of, okay, that's got to go first, and I'll get back to the other one, when I'm supposed to. I'm not in any hurry. Cab driver's got this game. So that being said, it is BTR listener 025 tonight for those that want to call in through Skype. Put BTR 025 into your Skype contacts to do a search, and when you do the search, it comes up this way, click it, and you can call straight to the board that way, or you can go on Skype via the Blog Talk Radio page. You're listening there. For those that want to call in, you can call in at 661-467-2401. And I just want to clarify even further. I mean, I've been talking about the same stuff for years, literally, years. The message hasn't changed. Just the delivery of trying to get it where it's comprehensible by people, especially those that get the notion of what the name actually represents, and it can literally put you into a state of panic. I know it did for me. When you realize that everything you do regarding the name, through your ignorant consent, where there was no true intent, has had us literally preying on each other to the glee and chagrin of those trying to collect your souls. If you want to get a really good idea of what is going on this planet, there is one movie, I've talked about this one a lot of times, and if you want to get a true handle on what it is you're dealing with, It's a rather interesting little movie, and the movie's called Ghost Ship. One word. It would be considered they talk about it being a B movie kind of genre, horror stuff, whatever. But I got to tell you, it is one of the, in the genre that it's in and how it presents itself, it is probably one of the finest works of art I've seen exposing this whole game. And when you understand that the ship that is the ghost ship in this movie is literally Earth, the mind of Earth, the consciousness of Earth, being encapsulated and ultimately set free. And you'll see at the end of the movie how the cycle regenerates itself. What we're doing here is making it impossible for that cycle to regenerate ever again. And that's why those of us that are on the front line, sitting at this table, getting the word out to others, doing your part, we all do our own part here. This is what is shifting the consciousness and is changing the reality of this world, literally. So do not take your powers lightly, and do not underestimate yourself in any way, shape, or form. Oh, okay, let me see. Is the audio okay, guys? Okay. Yeah, I haven't changed anything. It's still... Yeah, don't move. Sound is good now. I got you, Bendy. Yeah, so... okay, good. That was weird. Well, I got to tell you, when I clicked the button for the intro, it took a second for it to boot, so I'm just wondering if there's just a tiny bit of lag. So hopefully that's better. I'll hold the mic out where it's more visible. It's actually on the line up to the headphones, so I guess sometimes you can caught my cardigan. But anyway, there you go. One second, I got to get over to the document. Okay, for those that want to follow along, you can go to kateofgaia.wordpress.com and go to Kate's Writings page, and it should be right at the very bottom of the Kate's Writings as the most...
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Hello, good evening, good Saturday night. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live from criticalmassradio.co.uk in yet another undisclosed location somewhere on planet Earth. Yeah, lots of fun. Guys, I'm going to go back over this weekend especially. I want to go back over the Babylon is Fallen essay, because I've had a lot of people question, and I see a lot of anxiety, because it is a very, very big pill to swallow when one really comes to terms with anything to do with the name and the system has you spiritually contracted to the beast. And it really is quite simple to break that contract. And this is the one thing that I'm still failing at getting it across to people. And mainly it's due to the fact that we have been in a physical reality for so long. There is that incessant ego urge to feel the need to do something. Well, yeah, but you got to get the concept first. And what you do after that is just merely dessert. You got to get the main course first. Things you do after you get the concept are the things that actually will have some teeth. And again, this is so very surreal for people to digest at first glance in terms of being on Interstate 60 or a yellow brick road, whatever you want to call it, when you start understanding the magic and seeing the magic around you and seeing the very effects you create planet-wide by changing a headline into your definition, the power of thought starts to come to fruition. The ones that have been in control of this consciousness for a very long time are in an absolute state of panic right now. I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of, today has been a lot of anticipation, feeling in the air, a bit of anxiety. And this allows for me to see something large occurring in terms of the causal effect that we at this table create. And I say that in no uncertain terms. The power that you have and the power that you can wield, you get back into this frame of, being, actually being you from a causal position, can be very overwhelming. And to the degree that you can accept responsibility for every thought you have, every intention you have, is to be able to get the power of your magic wand back, so to speak. So I want to go over Babylon Has Fallen. I'm going to read the whole thing first, and then I'm going to go through it paragraph by paragraph to really open it up a little bit more. Because effectively what that one essay, document, whatever you want to call it, what it represents is a culmination of literally 4 years of work, summed up in 3 pages. It would be very easy for anyone, and this is basically where I'm going to direct people to start reading from. There's, because once you read that, the Babylon Has Fallen, and you may not be fully aware of what's going on, but I'll tell you, once you read that and go into the essays will actually start to make a lot more sense, because what this does is it clarifies it to a degree that it's bringing up 7 points of interest that people need to be focused on as far as the spirit trap is concerned, and I